Alrighty. So, Michael's gone. That's
No,
okay.
he's still here. He's still here.
That's alright. I've already hit start. So last we left off, our adventurers had a bit of a bump in the night, having a bit of a tussle with one of the henchmen or goons of Zodor in the streets, seeing that he was quite adept at his hand-to-hand combat. But prevailing over him and taking some heavy hits, you managed to get him down, and what looked like he was dead by the time you got to his body. Getting Sheriff to take him back to take the body back to the sheriff's office, you then went and confronted Zodor, who was looking like he was packing up and getting ready to get out of town. You stopped him in his tracks and cornered him in his office before providing the proof that was needed to arrest him and take him into a holding cell at least. He did seem like he was trying to wiggle his way out of it, but with the proof there and Sheriff there as well, it was pretty evident eventually that he was fighting a losing battle, and he happily put his hands behind his back and went along with you, grinning slimily along the way. After raiding the office and going back to the sheriff's house, there was a little bit of information uncovered about a few things, and also a little bit of an interrogation that happened behind closed doors, as Puck and Ghost managed to remove a worm-like creature item thing from Zodor's ear, and that's when the smile dropped. Still sitting there calmly and still trying to keep his face about town, you can tell that you have upset something. We ended the session by leveling up to level 3, and just before we start today's session, we're going to just retcon just a few minutes back into the night, as we move the camera over to Vargir and Dre, sitting in the one of the off rooms. Dre you've been talking for a bit, trying to not get information out of him, but almost just chatting to him like he's just another person. He's become a lot more comfortable with you, and as the night is getting long, he'll kind of turn to you and say, "So, what do you care for us? Why do you stop them from attacking me in the church? You seem to be taking on the role of looking over me. I didn't ask for any of this. I don't understand it."
Look, honestly, your friends didn't deserve what came to them, and I don't think you do, too. And if you're anything slightly similar to me, I know there's some good in you and your people. You can find your way back to society, live amongst these people and not feel ashamed, not feel shunned.
And how do we do that when they won't even let us near their town? They see us for what we are, and we get chased out by brooms and pitchforks.
Well, attacking them and stealing their stuff is a start to stop doing.
I think I get what you're saying.
Same.
You like switch in between goblin and common, which messes up the words a bit. Well, you have to understand, we have to do what we have to do to survive out there. The mists are harsh. Things don't happen as they usually do.
Well, why not move out of the mists? Get a little closer to town, get people used to the idea of you being around, and slowly you'll find a way in. It's not easy, I know. It's gonna take some work, and it will go against everything you stand for. But in time, it'll happen, and you'll find peace and home.
It would be nice to not be looking over our shoulder every night.
I know.
You say we're like you. How do you mean? I see you're big and strong, and we usually make the biggest and strongest lead the tribes, but did you used to live in the mists?
No, not exactly. I I came from a very far away from here, and I've been traveling and hiding from my past for a long time. And it took a lot for me to become who I am today.
You tell us not to be ashamed of who we are, yet you seem like you are too.
Not ashamed of who I've become, but what I once was, yes.
He kind of ponders on that for a second.
Um, Look, Dre, I've made mistakes. I've done what you've done. I've stolen, I've killed. And, well, it just didn't sit right with me. Something just didn't work. So I decided to leave and find my own path outside of what I thought was the only way of living.
At this point, go on.
Sorry, no, that's it.
At this point, you do feel the slight presence of something else in this room.
Can I like slightly turn my head to have a look around?
You know that it's Tim.
Ah, it's Tim.
Yeah.
I had help. I had a guide. Maybe I can be that for you. Maybe you'll find your own guide. But I can at least start that.
And why are you bothered with what we do? You're not going to join our tribe. You're going to move on like every other adventurer, and what's the point?
That's correct. Well, maybe you can start becoming the ones that protect this town. Like we did.
Well, that would be a sight, wouldn't it?
Well, you saw it here today. We did it. 2 cats. A guy with a weird backpack. And a savage in most people's eyes.
He nods in agreement. It is strange to say the least.
Look, Dre, I'm not going to push you into anything. I just want you to know that there's hope.
Thank you. You see, it's a bit tough for him to say that. And he goes to say it in Goblin and then realizes he can't quite put the correct words together, so he changes. I imagine this conversation is kind of swindling in and out of Goblin and Common.
Very bilingual.
But he manages to say thank you, and, well, I would like to show you our tribe, even if it is on the way to whatever you need. I am alive. Yeah, I am alive today. Well, because of you. I hope you can pass this on to other creatures you might meet in the future that are misunderstood.
Varge would take that on very much and nod and go, I will. Thank you.
And we will come away from that room as Seb and I have been talking throughout the week, and he will be taking the Oath of Redemption. Not Oath of the Ancients. So he has changed his character sheet to that. But we pick up, unless anyone else would like to do anything specifically through the night, I imagine that you kind of take turns resting within this office, whether you want to make a plan in the morning or anything, but you can all take the long rest with your level up. Speak now or go, Puck.
Yeah, I would very much like to go and take up my room at the are we sorry, this is maybe are we taking up like a watch to be guarding him, or are we kind of
No, Sheriff will probably be very capable of holding him in the cell. I'm more meaning that if there's anything else you want to do during this night, otherwise we can skip to the morning and start the day early or
it's
fresh.
pretty late though, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Then don't worry about it. It's all good.
All right. Anyone else?
I think nothing too huge, but throughout the night, Molokov is doing some tinkering and messing around, primarily like with his arm. He's almost like taking bits out and like, maybe inscribing something under a plate and then putting it back on and that sort of thing. But just some general tinkering around and that sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
Maybe as a play around with his backpack as well, like, he's pulling out some scrap and trying to see what fits where and whether he can use stuff.
Sure.
But that'll be about all.
Nice. So as you each do your own activities and take some time for yourselves and talk to one another, the night will pass without incident, but we now awaken on the 23rd of Baracus, a day before Phaethon's fallen.
Before.
Yeah, go for it.
24th.
The 24th, yeah. As Phaethon's fallen. So, early in the morning, the sun is yet to peek over the horizon. The day is yours. As you all kind of wake and get together, there's a couple of rations and stuff in the sheriff's office, so that's kind of breakfast provided. But you all meet in that one area, just outside the cells. What would you like to do?
Start by saying good morning.
He's that guy.
Did you say that the body of the other dude was here?
Yeah, it could still be here. Sheriff did say that he was going to take it to the apothecary for examining and stuff, but I can that can be done today.
Hey, hoi. I would like to retcon a couple of things and go back to last night for just a quick second.
Sure.
Exiting the room with Puck before he heads off. I imagine I stay here with Sheriff. I will sleep in the corner or something like that. I'll ask, you had other things you wanted me to take a look at?
That's
Remember
Ask me about Sheriff. Yeah.
To
yeah,
Puck.
my bad.
I see it, yeah.
Yes. I'll hand over 2 items: the 6-inch silvery flute that we got from the guy we fought last night, and the potion that Zodor gave Puck when he was pretending to be hungover.
Yes.
Right.
Zodor gave me this, but I didn't trust to try it. But it might
That's
be
a
useful.
wise decision, friend. I'll take a look, including
And does it work on that? And I'll sort of nod towards that little glass jar with the worm in it.
We'll find out. I might be able to clean something. But it's definitely not my area of expertise.
No, I've never seen anything like that.
You kind of look at this vial, like I imagine the vial's about this big. The worm is like
Yeah.
maybe 2 centimeters long, and it's like bulbous and just wriggling around. And
It's disturbing, for sure.
It must have been a good reason he put that where he had it. I mean, you wouldn't go putting bugs in your ear otherwise.
His expression certainly changed when we took it out. I say just a little quieter under my breath.
Yeah. I wonder if somehow he was communicating with it or something. A bit like Hera's earring.
It's possible. I'll take a look. I'll let you know what I find in the morning.
No worries.
And I'll spend the time, about half an hour, to identify all 3 items.
sure. So we will start off with the whistle. Oh, sorry. Where is Michael's thing? This is the first one.
Oh.
The second one was the potion, correct?
It was, yep.
Yep.
That's cool. That's cool.
And the third was, say again, the worm.
The worm.
Yeah,
Okay.
the worm.
Everybody do.
I feel like we do hear you. You go, oh, that's so cool. Just like several
Yeah.
times while you're identifying. We're like, what is happening?
I get through the first thing, go, oh, that's interesting, and then get through the potion and go, I wasn't trying to fucking kill you. That's good news.
Okay. And the third one, as you kind of get out your tools and you open the vial and you pick this thing out and hold it at a distance and kind of examine it, put it back in, write some notes and stuff. This here is what you discern from it. But you get that you are not getting the full picture.
Yep, that makes sense. Oh, that's a long message.
So while he's reading that, does anyone else want to do anything as they're waking up in the morning or as such?
Oh.
Yeah, I think I would probably try and wake up a bit early, like maybe volunteer almost to do like the last little watch so everyone else is sort of asleep. But knowing that they're going to take the dead body down to the apothecary and have a look at it today at some point, I would like to try and find it. I want to go and look at his ears and see if there's anything weird or strange about him.
Sure.
And
I might come with you.
kind of thinking about it, I want to try and discern if he's been dead longer than we killed him for, if that makes sense.
That does absolutely make sense. Give me a... You can go Arcana or Investigation. Puck, you'd have to go Investigation.
Yeah, can I just assist?
Yep, so you
Yep,
can go
yep.
with advantage.
Oh, ooh, that's good for an assist. So that's going to be 24.
Which dead body is this?
The guy you killed in the alley.
The big
The-
guy,
you just fought, yeah.
Yep.
bodyguard.
24. Well, great. Looking over him, there is nothing in his ears. You get right in there. Probably a little bit of earwax, but nothing of a different nature. And referring to your notes and your studies and kind of conversing a little bit with Puck as well, it looks like this guy has died within the last couple of hours. You know dead bodies and dead cells and all that stuff, and none of that has started to happen yet. What is interesting though is that the closer you look at like his arm here and the hair around his neck and stuff, it has kind of animalistic nature to it.
Animalistic,
From your 24, you could probably discern that
like a
he was possibly a shifter as well.
aware thing.
DM.
Oh, this is the henchman.
Yes.
Zoro's henchman.
The one of my new features, Whispers from the Dead.
Yeah.
Whenever you finish a short or long rest, you can choose a skill or tool proficiency that you lack and gain it as a ghostly presence shares its knowledge with you. What would this guy have been proficient in?
Definitely like acrobatics
Athletics?
and athletics. Yeah, I'd say athletics.
All right. Puck's going to sit down next to him.
He was a very hand-to-hand fighter, so yeah, athletics I definitely would say.
Yeah, Puck is just going to sit down while Hera is sort of looking over him and just sort of maybe put his hand on like the guy's forehead for a minute, close his eyes, and maybe just like a soft, dull green glow come out just from where his fingers touching the guy's head. And if you look closely as Puck's eyes flicker, just as they open that tiny fraction, a little bit of green light might leak out, and I will gain proficiency in athletics.
You almost,
for the day.
not to rip off the Matrix too much, but you almost feel yourself, your muscles kind of jolt a bit, and you kind of like, okay, you can feel the movements. You remember that combat, and for,
I know kung fu.
you know kung fu, but in some weird way, it's as if the dead has spoken to you and taught you, which is it's a strange feeling. It's yes, you've gained proficiency, but that doesn't stop it from feeling really odd, and it almost in a way confirms like he is dead. This guy that you were fighting just before in the street. Yeah, you get a bit of a shudder, but at the same time, you and Hera kind of finish up.
I'll definitely be sort of smiling at that whole process of him communicating with the arcane around death.
I'm new to this, but it's something I've been trying to get happening for a while.
What spell is that?
It's just a feature of the Phantom,
Oh, that's sick.
not a spell.
Yeah, that was
That's
really
so
cool.
Your eyes were all. Yes, you are. That's very impressive.
Yes, I hope it comes in handy. Well, I suppose it remains to be seen. But I guess the dead, using their knowledge feels useful. They've moved on, but what they knew in life can still aid and assist us here.
Well, they do not need it, no? May as well. It's not stealing as such as spreading information. That's what all the great scholars want us to do.
Nice. We'll, as you kind of finish up with the body, Ghost, you have finished identifying your 3 items. I think you're muted, Michael.
I gotta stop doing that. Well,
Just muttering to himself, like, oh,
start with the easy ones. I'll hand that potion out towards Puck. This will actually do you really well if you're far too hungover in the morning. It cures minor ailments pretty quickly.
Sib needs it.
Please, can I have it?
Okay, that's just a general salve then. Well, I'll hang on to it, and if I need it. I'm glad he wasn't trying to poison me. I really thought that maybe there was something more sinister going on here.
Yeah, so did I. You'd expect it, but it turns out you don't have to be. You can still be nice if you're a bad guy, I guess. Gives me some. Mechanically, it's a potion of lesser restoration.
Okay, cool. That's a lot more useful than, hey, it'll like do a little help.
Yeah,
I was like,
so
okay.
it cures one condition, poisoned,
Wow.
I can't remember what it is, blinded, deafened. I'll look up the lesser restoration spell. Flute. That is even a little more curious. Now that I'm putting the pieces together, that's why Zodor was in such a hurry to leave.
You're all in the room at the moment, by the way.
Yep. Say, it's a horn of alarm, but it's silent. Blow on it, and as long as one target within your range, quite a long range, isn't deafened, they hear the sound of the horn, but only that target. Horn of Silent Alarm has 4 charges. When you blow it, one creature of your choice can hear the horn's blare, provided the creature is within 600 feet and not deafened. No other creature hears the sound.
That is very, very useful.
How do you do? That's
Indeed it is. It's going to come in handy for us. Would you like to hold on to it?
I feel like might be able to make use of it, considering I'm probably the most likely to be running off ahead or behind.
Agreed.
And if you ever
good call.
need some notice of anyone coming your way, just pass it off to one of us.
Yep, great.
Do you have to attune to that, Reese?
I can't remember.
Not in your. Doesn't say in your description.
Stand by.
Does it-
Horn of Silent
Does it
Alarm.
only have the 4 charges?
No, you don't have to attune to it. It regains
Yeah.
1d4 at dawn.
Nice.
Nice.
I wonder who he's trying to warn.
Well, he seemed to
Probably
summon
Zelda.
the methods.
Ah, yes, that's right.
So I don't know if they were just already around or if
I
he
have a
let someone
feeling.
else know.
I have a feeling that was one of his personal attributes. I get an inkling that he was warning Zodor to get the fuck out.
He did seem like he was in a rush, didn't he?
He was in a hell of a rush.
Oh, while you're doing things, I'm going to take out that dagger that you had previously done your little light on.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
No, it's fine. But if we don't need the recording, or do we still need the recording? Sheriff,
Might be worth
do we still
listening,
need the
Sheriff.
recording?
He's not in the room, but you have provided it, and Zodor is in captivity now. Like, I don't think you need the recording anymore.
Okay, cool. Well, only if you're feeling up to changing it around, but it was quite handy. I don't see so well in the dark.
If we want to keep the recording for a short while, I can do something similar.
You'll hear no complaint from me.
Is your call, Ghost?
I'm not fussed. I mean, we're only going to lose the first 6 seconds of that conversation anyway. One piece at a time, you know. Yeah, I feel like the last half was really the solid bit. I've got it. No worries. Toss it
I will hand you the dagger. I won't throw a knife at you.
in.
Thought just like crosses Puck's mind. It's like,
Pins me to the wall. In a similar fashion to how we did in the caves, I pull out a cold stamp and just against the floor, a single swipe with the light hammer I have tucked in the back of my belt, and that brand is now lit up again. Sort of rub it and turn it off again, hand it back to you.
Thank you. Reese, that horn that is a flute. Are we like? Can I choose what it looks like?
I mean, it looks like a flute.
Does it look like a flute, or more like kind of like a recorder, or like a tin whistle?
Like a tin whistle kind of thing.
Yeah, cool.
Like a dog,
basically, am
a
I
dog
playing to the
whistle.
side, or am I playing it straight in front of me?
Either, whatever way feels
Cool.
comfortable.
I'll make it a little tin whistle.
You blow air through it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It takes a lot more skill to make a sound, even if it's silent, out of a real flute than it does out of like a recorder. Like, I've attuned to this item, but I just can't make it make a sound.
I can play Three Blind Mice.
Wouldn't that be great? You know, you're off being sneaky, and all you hear in the inside of your head is.
It means run. It means run. No, you can play it like that.
It's still early, right?
So,
Yeah.
Phaethon's Fallen is tomorrow?
just quickly, did you want to address the third item? Or are you purposely skipping
yeah.
over that?
At the moment, I'm purposely skipping over it.
Cool.
Oh,
It's still early. Molokov, we missed out on our meeting with the blacksmith last night. I might see if I can get in and work on a couple of things before the town gets busy.
A fantastic idea. Yes, that would be quite helpful. Yes, I will come with you.
We have some discussing to do. Obviously, there's a lot going on and possibly an attack that we have to stop, but I need an hour or two, if you all don't mind.
fine by me.
Can
I just ask, were we expecting the attack today? Sorry, or was it tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
And are we? The plan is to wait for it. Is that? Have we discussed that yet?
That's a discussion.
No, that's what we have to talk about.
Okay.
That's what you need to decide.
Let's cover it now. Why not?
Are we going to get anywhere? Like if it's out in the only the places that we've been to that we might be relevant. Big Mo was a day's travel away, so we wouldn't. Who knows? And then if we went back into the mists, where we ran into the people and I left a mark to follow their footprints, that was also a whole day away. I'm not sure we'll have time to get anywhere.
What I worry about is even though we know that Dre's kin have the same message, they'll probably be involved in the attack. We don't know how many others that message was sent to. Even if we get to his people and convince them not to launch the attack, well, how many have we stopped?
I agree. Can we, was there anything in his office that maybe showed where or who he sent messages to?
Not that you found.
Can Dre go back on his own and tell his people to not? Is that a thing that we can delegate that task?
I can walk Dre out of town if that's what he wants to do, and I'll have a look at Dre.
I'm happy to. I feel like we're on the same side. He'll give a look at Vargir and just give a nod.
And I give that an insight check.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what
I would also like to.
If he seems legitimate.
Go on, everyone, roll.
I won't. I trust him. He's my friend.
You know what? Yeah.
It's a natural Uno.
That's a 17.
The look between Vargir and Dre seems genuine.
Little like love hearts pop out.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, cool. No, all right.
Told you he's my friend.
Molokov had some smudges on his glasses.
Okay, I'll walk Dre out of town, and see that he.
Oh,
gets
before
a
you
message to
do,
his-
Dre, look, don't get me wrong, you shot me. I'm still a little mad about that.
Kind of just holds back a comment.
But Vargir trusts you. And through that, I know you're not a bad guy.
He kind of like rolls his eyes, and then with a huff, he extends his hand out.
Sure.
This is the most uncomfortable thing he has ever done: is shake a hand with someone.
Vargir feels like a very proud dad right now.
He does it like
Because-
a kid that has been told off and told to do, like shake and make up, and he shakes the hand. And he's like, "Yeah, well, yeah."
Vargir's gonna smile and just kind of like pat him on, like just give him a pat on the back.
I won't.
Okay.
I won't shoot you again if we're to try and improve relations.
I mean, you can shoot me again if it does improve relations. Just watch your timing.
Gives a nod.
I'll
My,
sheepishly come up behind.
Important question, though.
For me,
For you, yeah. What do you think your chances are of convincing your people not to go along with this fight are?
slim, but we can do it.
What do you think would convince them?
Oh, maybe a bribe of some sort. Something to assure that the town won't come looking for us.
Maybe I
Well-
can talk to the church and see if they're willing to offer anything up.
Well, I
would love
might
myself.
avoid going back and through those doors. Maybe it'd be best if you did that.
Yeah, good plan. I could always go with him, but I'll be gone for a while.
As you recall, it's about half a day's travel to the Mists, and then
Yeah, true.
you're not sure how
far in?
well, you're not sure what time's like in there.
Yeah. Although, might be kind of handy to find out.
Might be. You also have Dre, who knows how to navigate to his tribe. Things to consider.
We just
Right,
don't see Vargir for weeks.
Shit.
I think I remember us talking about the fact that the mist is too timey-wimey to miss the opportunity.
Potentially.
Actually,
Yep.
can I just turn to Dre and ask him, like, surely if he's came in and out of the mists and is timing his, like, their attacks correctly, he surely understands how to navigate time.
Possibly. You ask this to him, and he kind of considers it and goes, "Well, we don't really make battle plans as such. We get incentives and kind of go on raids.
But how would
It's
how would you
about
make
sometimes we go on the signal of something. Maybe another letter has been delivered about something coming past, or a flag being raised, or something like that. But we do know it takes about half a day to travel from the edge of the mists to this town. And from the mists to our tribe, well, inside the mists, maybe an hour or two.
Right. I'll take him to the edge of town, get Dre to talk to his people, and hopefully they won't attack.
He kind of pipes up and goes, maybe some bread rolls too. That might to say, he says to Ghost. And
Oh.
and water.
Yeah, you know what? I can tell you what, Vargir, take this.
It gets kind of cold in the mists too. Varga, you can tell that he's pushing his limits now.
Yeah.
I'll just kind
I roll my eyes a bit. I give Vargir 5 gold.
His eyes light up.
Go through the markets and load him up with
Oh.
enough food and water to feed his whole clan. I don't know how much you need, but we'll give you as much as we can. And when we come through,
hey, also, are we gonna bring that general store owner his money back?
Sorry, yes, that's I've got that still. I'm planning on heading out around town a little bit this morning, briefly.
Okay.
Maybe while Vargir takes.
Dre.
Can I roll an insight on Puck? See if he's actually gonna get the money back.
Go for it. This rolls in your hands, Jed.
Yeah.
That's a 13.
13? Seems like he's going to give it back.
Okay, cool. Right. Good to know. Good to know.
All right. So
I want to look at the.
beyond.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you finish up, Seb. Sorry.
No,
you
I was Michael was saying something.
go, Puck.
Yeah, I want to go to the Grey Beyond, but before I go, I want to look in the book that Zodor had. the one that had basically blackmail information on people.
Sure, Molokov will hand it over to you and explain what he's seen in it.
And when he takes it out, I'm gonna probably just while you give it to me, maybe there's something else going on. I'm gonna put it into my bag. And if you were to look, you would see that I have another book in there called the Star House of Making, which I found in the mists, which I think Jed thinks you might be interested in. But
yeah, no, you have mentioned it, and Molokov is definitely aware of it.
Yeah, okay.
He's aware that you have it. We
Cool.
just haven't had much downtime yet.
Yeah, cool. All right, well, I'm going to take it, and then maybe in a minute or so, I'll look at it. But I want to read and see what he had on Callie and on Brackham. If there's anything in there about him.
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to aim a quick question at Dale. Is it common knowledge, do we all know that you have the 3 books from Zodor's office?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have hid them or anything. I haven't.
They'll be in your satchel.
Yeah, I would have. That probably would have come up that we.
I feel like last session you pulled them out and looked through them.
Yeah, I feel like I was reading
I
them.
can't remember. That's fine. It's later information. It's cool.
But I probably wouldn't have actually said anything specifically about them. At least
Cool.
not yet. I'm probably reading through them to see if they are of any interest.
Yeah, so they're not hidden, but you're not displaying them.
No, and that was also more a little bit for flavor sort of thing, just because I had new books on me.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely will be sort of like skim reading at first, and then we'll probably, if I see any good keywords, have a proper read through of some paragraphs. And
so what you can do is, if you want in any downtime or anything, you can tell me which book you are reading, and a check will be made and information might be given.
Okay, cool.
But if you wanted to ask anything about them, Ghost, now's the time.
I just needed to know if he had them or not. It might come up later.
Okay.
Yeah, they would just, if not out, just tucked into my satchel sort of thing.
Sweet.
Puck, why don't you give me a investigation check on this book?
Okay. That's a 10 plus 6, 16.
16. It goes over a couple of pages, and it is handwritten, so it takes a little bit to kind of go, oh, that's that name. I haven't recognized that name. Oh, that's interesting that this person's fear is this. Kelly's name's not in there.
Brackham.
Neither is Brackham.
That's more suspect than if they were. Okay. And then one of the other books we had is a ledger, right, of how much they've been paying?
Yes, yeah.
That's the same document, right?
Same document, but maybe different sheets or whatever.
Sure. I want to have a look. Is her name listed in there? Because I know she's been giving him money.
It is not.
Well, that's going to be a fun conversation. Well, if we're going to head off and do some things, I need to go into town. I need to go over to the Great Beyond. But is anyone going to stay here, or are we all leaving and going places?
Well, it seems we also have some things about town we are trying to achieve. Is it maybe prudent to leave the whistle with
Zodor? Just give it back to him.
I was going to suggest the sheriff.
Can the sheriff blow? I'm sorry if that's racist or anything.
That is a great point. I
That's
don't
what
know.
happened.
Should we ask him? Ghost, you seem to know a lot about them. Is it racist to ask if they can blow?
I think if you ask it
They
that
can.
way.
They can do anything a normal creature can do.
Okay.
That has
Good
many
Lord.
connotations, and I wouldn't want to ask a very literal being if they can blow. They might take it the wrong way.
Fair.
Now.
Sorry for asking. Also, I just got a quick question for the whole party and the DM. I have this item, and I've been staring at it for like a day, and it's called Lucy Keeps Key. Does anyone remember what that was for?
Called what?
Lucy keeps key.
Lucy, as in like
Lucy, the name, keeps, as in like a keep, and then key. I don't know if I was having a stroke that day or.
is it like a custom item?
Yeah.
I'm looking through because I've written down most of the treasure we've been finding and getting.
like I've got them. I don't even remember picking up a key.
As in, you
No.
wrote this down?
Yes, as in I've put it in my thing, and
I have no idea.
Do you know what? Do you know what it is? I'm gonna delete it. It was when I was testing Vargir in another campaign.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's from a one shot, isn't it?
That's from a one shot. Yeah. Thank you.
Vargir kind of just looks at this key in his hand and he's like,
And it just
I
vanished.
cannot remember what this is for. Puts it back in his pocket.
Throws it over the shoulder.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah. I'll just like to add as well, if we are expecting a possible attack tomorrow, don't you think we should prepare some of the people, or at least the town?
I was going to ask, do we, apart from obviously Zoldor here and the sheriff, is there any form of leadership in this town? Is there a mayor?
If you remember
Maybe.
correctly, if you remember correctly, the sheriff kind of showed up and made himself de facto justice and peacekeeper of the town.
Correct.
It was the lawless community before that.
I would say the closest to the sheriff is probably Mother Johanna.
Smaller communities like this often just sort of self-regulate.
Well, Vargir, do you want to maybe go see the mother later on?
Yeah,
Once
I
you've
think I might.
escorted your friend.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm gonna. I'm gonna whistle to see if I can see Obak.
Sure. I believe you brought him with you from the station to the sheriff's cell. So he's just outside and just kind of like pops up from the window.
Great. Okay, lovely little boy. I've realized I've completely misplaced the basilisk skull.
I believe it's here. You left it here. At the station.
sheriff's-
At the sheriff, yeah.
At the sheriff's. Okay, cool, sweet. Yeah, great. Okay, I will stay there for now. Then I'm gonna hop on Obak with Dre. If there's anything else.
I guess we'll all meet back at the Grey Beyond in a little bit.
Sounds good.
Okay. So from my understanding, Vargir, you're going to go via the markets and then out of town and send Dre on his way as quickly as possible.
And then see Mother Johanna after, yeah.
See Mother Jana. Okay, so we might come back to you.
Cool.
Let's just go from the top. Hera, what are you doing as people are starting to filter out in different directions? You can join someone or you can do your own thing.
I think this is not really set up here.
We can come back to you.
No harm having someone like stay with Zodor.
Yeah, I might just stay here, and just be like, I suppose I will keep an eye on what happens here, and I guess maybe see if the sheriff has anything to say later on.
If you're staying here, then I'll hang on to the whistle. And you can let me know, and I can let anyone else know who's not around.
Okay. That works for me.
Sure. All right. So as everyone kind of disperses off, Hera, you stay around the sheriff's office, and you see him keeping busy. He's filing some documents and writing out some stuff. He occasionally walks over to the cell door, or the door that leads to the cells, looks through the little kind of window thing on it, gives a nod, walks out. So Zodor is in there, but Sheriff doesn't seem to be communicating with you or anything.
No, that's cool. That was probably what I should have been doing, but I will probably end up sitting down and I think I'm gonna pull out True Magic. Start reading over that. And I'll almost probably sit myself down in a corner and roll up a little 3, 4, 5, 6 cigarettes so that they're already pre-rolled. Start one. Pull out a book and like a blank piece of paper, hold it up, and then just have the mage hand start scripting and taking notes while I'm reading with one hand and holding a bit of paper, and the mage hand is writing.
Okay. Do you want to give me an Arcana roll, please?
Arcana. Oh, that could be good. It's a 17.
A 17. Okay. Two seconds while it loads.
Nice.
Okay. Sorry, I didn't know you were going to do some reading today.
That's okay. Sorry, that's my bad. The wizard is doing some.
DM goes into his digital library of all of the possible books
Yes,
we can
yeah.
pick up and read, finds the right one.
While Reese is looking, question for the group.
Go for it.
One, do we think that Zodor is a Lycan because he was staring up last night, and everyone else in his group seems to be some kind of shifter? And two, did anyone get a good look at the ring he's wearing? I want to know if it's made out of emerald and has the emerald claw or the green fist or whatever it's been referred to a few times as on it, because we still don't know who he's working for.
I do have some notes on that ring, but I'm not sure how much.
I think
I
it
looked at it, but I can't
something.
remember.
Yeah, I think it is I believe it does have like something similar to a green something on it.
It was a hand holding a green gem, wasn't it?
Sigil of an open. It's just an open hand.
Open green hand.
Yeah. Okay.
Open green hand, yeah.
Okay. Hera, as you are reading through this book, and this is going to take you a couple of hours, so this will be your time until you meet up. On a 17, you discern that this book is quite old, and by finding it in the office, it obviously might be a relic of some kind, an old tome. As you kind of go through it, some of the pages are very brittle. So I've sent you a message as well. You do discern that you could get a single use of a spell from it. Whether you decide to take the time to copy that down and stuff, you can. But if you use it straight from the page, you discern that it will use it up and it will dissolve and disappear, kind of thing. What you also get is that this book starts alluding to magic beyond the world of Eberron. That there are you see keywords such as like planes and different dimensions is the wrong terminology, but different spaces within reality, and that maybe magic comes from somewhere beyond this plane of existence. And whether that magic is more whole, more true, that's where you see the words true come up, more powerful, and maybe more raw in power.
Very interesting.
So, while you ponder on that, we'll go over to Molokov.
Yes, well, I believe me and Ghost are heading off to the workshop.
Sure.
Um,
You head
So,
down.
hey Puck, we're heading to the Artisan Square. Why don't you come drop that gold off on the way?
I'll just give it to you. I have my own places to be.
Very good. Well, I sort of tap the side of my belt. We'll talk later. And very good. We'll head off in that direction.
All right. So you and Molokov walking there, you two alone for a couple of minutes before you arrive at the town square, and the nice tidied up job you did of making sure no one saw the combat that happened last night. The stores are all opening, signs are getting put out, and stuff like that. And you do see Cooper kind of like rolling up the blinds of his general store.
On the way there, during those couple of minutes, once we're sort of just past the general eye shot of the sheriff's office. Hey, Malikov, we found something. And I'll pull out, palming the glass vial with the worm in it.
oh,
Remember how we said there was something in his ear?
yes, I do recall. Very gross.
Extremely.
What are we looking at?
It's some sort of symbiote. I just put it away. Wanted to make you aware of it. It needs more investigation, but it holds a small amount of arcane power, but it bonds to the user. It attaches to the side of its skull. Collects information. It's concerning, but I couldn't glean anything more.
Very. You don't think it's something to do with like communication, or?
I think it seems like it's one directional. Like it sends information, it doesn't give it back. But I really don't know. And I don't think it has anything to do with our current priorities.
I see like a smug face in my head. I don't know why. It's like we're not being told something.
It's almost like, investigating a arcane symbiote from the outside. It only goes so far until you decide to bond with it yourself. Don't know why that pops into my head, but
Yes, well.
anyway, just thought you should know.
Maybe we hold off on this for a while. Last resort.
Things. Let's go do some good deeds, shall we?
You walk
Hey,
up.
Cooper.
Oh, hello. Very nice to see you this morning. How did everything go last night?
Well, glad to say that you shouldn't be receiving any more visits from Zodor's lackeys.
Oh, thank goodness. Oh, I'm so glad you've driven him out of town and done great work.
Well, not quite. He's locked in the sheriff's office at the moment, but
Oh, he's still around.
we have a strong case. He's not going anywhere too quickly.
Oh, all right. I did my part. I hope that was enough.
You did, and thankfully, we can return this to you. I toss him his.
What, 200 gold? It like knocks him over.
Give this back to you.
Oh, what? He looks inside and goes, "My, I didn't expect to see this ever again. Oh, thank you."
Well, it belonged to you, and as we said, we're just trying to do good.
Of course. Well, I don't know how I can ever thank you. Please, come have a look inside. If anything you want, I'll give you for half price.
That's extremely kind. I tell you what, my pockets are a bit light at the moment. Let me hold on to that thought, and if there's anything we need before we head out of town, we'll come back and say good.
Of course.
You say
I'll get myself all set up, and he kind of turns around and heads inside.
I feel like our honor bar just went up, like in Red Dead Redemption. You can now get discounts in local general stores.
That felt good. Is it, you swap to Ghost's honor bar and it's like already 3/4 of the way down? It picks up that little bit. All right.
It feels good to help.
Can I just say I was probably going to go to the general store. Can I just like awkwardly kind of like walk in after this interaction?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
You could have been there for it. Wouldn't have been.
Okay. Just in case. Just in case we had to change things.
Yeah.
Probably wouldn't have talked about the thing before. I'm assuming from Ghosts.
Yeah, I wouldn't have heard that.
I think if Vargier had been there, just for the time being, I would have held off on that information.
Sure. We'll come back to Vargier. He can come in a couple of minutes later.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool.
Right. Now we've done some good. Let's see if we can go and push our luck.
Absolutely.
Make some shit there.
You enter the blacksmith, and Chana is standing there, head over an anvil, trink, working on something. She kind of is like just setting up shop as well at the same time, kind of doing two things at once.
Sorry, it's getting loud here.
One moment.
Getting a little stormy out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Molokov and I guess both of you, can you give me a perception check when you enter the store, please?
Yeah. Let's use you.
What was that? Roll perception?
Yes, please.
What the?
Oh, it's not bad. I usually can't see shit.
You gave your glasses a clean this morning.
Yeah. +1, so 17.
10.
Kind of go in, and Chana gives you like the kind of I'll be with you in a second. So you kind of do that awkward sitting around looking at the tools that might be at your disposal and stuff. And you do see at the back of the room a couple of almost schematics / posters. They look old, they look worn, but they do look like they are from a time during the war. And one of them does represent a warforged Titan. Sorry about that. How can I be of assistance? Oh, it's you two. I suppose you want to be using the equipment. Well, it is a quiet day so far. How are you and all that as well? She kind of is. She's like flustered at doing different things around the shop. Look, if you're going to be here, stay out of my way, and the shop is yours. If I don't say anything, you don't say anything either.
Understood. I can't thank you enough. This is very helpful.
Of course, we must band together to come up with the inventions of tomorrow.
Yeah.
A little bit of that.
We won't get in your way, but if you're curious, feel free to ask questions.
Well, I could say the same to you. I'm the apprentice here.
Aren't we all?
She kind of gives a nod. Is there anything else I can help you with while you're milling about the workshop?
Any little bits of scrap, broken material, stuff you've failed and thrown away?
She gestures to like a pile at the back of the room that's, bent, not even swords really, but like bent hammers and chisels and tools, basically, that have not quite fit the mold, or, the mold's broken halfway through making it, and so on and so forth.
Wonderful. Right up my alley. Thank you very much. Let's get to work.
Oh.
All right.
I'm excited to see what you're coming up with here.
So what is it you two are trying to achieve?
Right.
You go on.
But gonna have to ask you for that dust.
Oh, of course. I don't think I'll need it for anything I'm trying to achieve. And he sort of flips through and pulls it out. Little half full vial of dragon shard.
Dragon
dust.
shard, yep.
Dragon shard dust.
Green.
Right. This is gonna get a bit weird. But go with the process.
Molotov's probably not even watching. He's starting to undo straps and take off his armor. And
Sure. Let's go with Ghost first.
yeah.
Oh, me. Cool. I do the old classic. Open the suitcase, flip out the legs. But this time it's going to get a little bit more complex. I'm going to start folding out other sections and pieces. You start to see a section that folds out and then unfurls and locks into place and almost looks like a four-fingered palm. And that kind of gets bent over to one side, and that happens again, and then something that looks like a foot with a dual ankle on it, similar to a cat or a dog. And he replaces the steel leg with that, starts folding things around, that sort of thing. Goes to the pile of scrap, and over the next hour and a half, starts forging. It takes the scrap material, the stuff that is broken and discarded or didn't fit the mold, and heats some pieces and hot cuts it with a hot knife. Takes the fractured pieces, stacks them, reforges them together, forms billets, and starts shaping things into bracing limbs, different twisting pieces of material that wrap around these other leg and arm-like structures. And eventually creates a large billet, and with this billet starts hammering it out into almost an ovoid disc, and then slowly, carefully, and very intentionally starts to form it and shape it into a very similar shape to Puck's mask. You can see the influence of that sort of dragon or wolf-like form, with two large sharpened fangs and even a lower jaw section that has a hinge at the base. Then he takes off the armored glove that he always wears on that right hand that holds the suitcase, the one that locks into place if he chooses to do so that he doesn't drop the case. Starts unwrapping the bandages, and I don't know what your passive perception is like, but I'll give you.
I'm going to say the same thing like halfway through mine, but it's not very good.
Oh, we're in the same workshop, and he's not necessarily trying to hide this. And what you see under the bandages is a hand that is covered in scars. Very large, some very large and crude, but then it seems like those are much older and well healed. The newer and fresher looking ones are very smooth and fine, even to the point where they almost look like pinpricks or cigarette burns. Takes out a very small, fine ice pick like tool with a hypodermic needle end to it, and one of his canisters. Clicks the canister into the back of the needle and stabs it into his wrist. And you can see through the little frosted glass on the side of it fills up with blood.
Molotov's probably half noticed that and would have stopped what he's doing and just stared. But wouldn't have probably said anything just yet.
Yep. Then takes that vial and starts adding some of the pieces that are already part of the suitcase together with it, clicking it almost into place. You see almost very finely formed brass tubing that clicks into the end where this file had connected. And then another piece that sort of sits on top, almost half dome in structure, and has two little oval sides that click together. Right. Here's hoping. He takes that green powder, that the dragon shard dust, places it in that little half dome, closes it. There goes nothing. And presses the whole vial down into the structure. Whole bunch of arcane runes light up, various colors, primarily this reddish, soft reddish glow that light up along the limbs, into various parts of the structure, and then big veins that center in the middle of the head of this mask-shaped design. And it seems like something's going to happen. And then it all goes dull. Fuck. Shit. Fuck. Kicks something off the side, broken chisel or something, throws a hammer.
Oh, do you need a hand over there? Calm down. Don't break the shot.
No, I'm close. I'm missing something. But everything's there. Everything's there. The entire structure is complete. All the runes are in the right places. Everything's connected. It's just not. It's like I've missed the startup process. Well, I'll think about it. I'll think about it.
All right.
He pulls out a set of bandages from the side of his pack and starts wrapping his hand.
You see Channa is kind of observing from the side. She just goes back to her work, though. Doesn't say anything. Molokov, what are you working on?
Yeah, so at the start of all this process, first thing he does is sort of unclips his backpack, and it sort of slides out from under. You can see it almost has like straps that go through the armor, and it just sort of slides off and a heavy thud onto the ground. And he just sort of opens it up and just starts pulling out piles of the scrap that he's collected so far. And then very methodically taking off the armor, it takes time to do that. Or undoes the straps, takes off his sort of half cloak, and underneath it, you can see the armor only goes up to the shoulder of the arm. It's like a breastplate sort of thing. Fully armored on the left arm, stops at the mechanical, and sitting sort of over it is this, sort of simple but well-made like shoulder plate, with like a strap that seems to go underneath the armor, and it's got, again, very similar to the arm, a whole bunch of runes scribbled over it, some crossed out and done again, and that's sort of sitting there. But he takes off the armor, and you can see he's just sort of wearing an undershirt, and the shoulder plate remains. But you can, again, we're working across this time, either make a perception check or just say you're in the same vicinity.
Yeah,
you get to see it.
Yeah, I imagine there's moments where both you and I are like side-eyeing each other, going,
yeah,
huh.
So
and not saying much, just continuing with our work.
Fully with the armor off, he sort of lays it flat out on the ground, like the different pieces. He has it is all, different parts, and he sort of lays it all out in front of him. But you can see, the shoulder plate's there, but you can just see this weird scarring almost that's coming out underneath like the edges of the plate, different to the inscribed runes that he's got on there. It almost looks like a an actual scar, like arms of a scar that are poking out from under it, and they can see as well a few coming out onto the actual skin as opposed to the metal.
And they look runic, like their arcane language.
They don't look. No, they don't. They specifically don't. It looks like it looks. Well, you can't see. You can only see the edges of it looks like there's something weird's going on under there, essentially.
Right.
But anyway, he's got the armor laid out in front of him, and you can see just very juxtaposition to the way Ghost works, with his methodical getting those things there. He almost just grabs a piece of scrap, gets the size. No, not this one, and pulls out another one, and perfect. And you can see he's almost trying to find pieces to make the whole piece of armor one, as opposed to being, the boots, the greaves, all of that different stuff. And he sort of has this little, we would look at it like a blowtorch, but yeah, it's got like a canister with a little nozzle, and essentially he's using the mending spell to almost weld bits of scrap to this armor.
That's cool.
Yeah, and as it sort of goes along, as the time passes, you can see, it starts off, he's got essentially just the legs standing up on their own, and he's making like little hinges along the sides and all of that, and then you can see the torso standing up on its own, and the whole thing's literally just standing there like it's got a model inside it, but it's just there, and he sort of is fitting all these pieces together, and it looks ragtag, it's like he's using bits of scrap, and he's not even, again, very different to you, he's not even molding them really so much. He might hammer them in bits and pieces, but he's not forging. He's almost just crafting and trying to make this work. And the whole time as well, you can see from the moment he started working, the runes on the shoulder guard started lighting up. And you probably would recognize some of them because you speak you read Dwarvish, don't you?
I do. I speak and read it. Yeah.
Even some of the crossed out runes, you'd see. You don't necessarily know exactly what it says, but you get the vibe of, oh, this is something that's helping him with creation. And yeah, so yeah, he'll be like hammering bits in, and he even gets the backpack up and on, and finds the way to get the straps in, and that's the whole thing sitting on it, and it all weirdly is balancing and standing up on its own. This weird one-armed, almost suit of armor, standing there. And
at this point, Channa is also very intrigued. She's kind of stopped what she's doing and just leaning against the anvil, looking at this construct.
And one of the last few things he does, he finds the barrels that were coming out the back of Rule's contraption.
Nice.
And you can see he's slotted them into something. You might not see the intricacies of it, but by the end of it, you can see out of his backpack, he's got these two almost like blastoids legs up sides. And you can see as well some chains that come out and hang over that look like would be some form of activation device. And when he's all done, he's sort of like looking over. He might you can see he's starting to he almost uses his metallic finger as like a screwdriver here and there, and it's getting things to sit in, and then sort of stands back and admires his work, and then just open. Essentially, he turns a cog on the chest, and the breastplate and the legs almost open up, and he like slips his left arm into their armor and sort of steps into it, and it all just closes in on him, legs and all, and sort of look, and you can see weirdly, despite it being very ragtagged, fits in with the with the shoulder guard, and it all just sort of melts together, and
well, at least one of us could make something that works today.
Well, I hope so. We haven't. It's a bit too tightly confined to test all the bits, but I think I've made some progress here today.
Ghost kind of does like a walk around of you. It just kind of nodding and like looking closer at a couple of like the connections and how you've done it.
And probably as you start coming up, he almost a little too quickly grabs the half cloak and sort of completes the armor and throws it again over the shoulder plate, and
Two artificers just like nerding out together.
Yeah. So, Michael, I've sent you a message, but Molotov, have you created something mechanically?
I am explaining it's the making the arcane armor make sense, essentially. And making a few more things that'll come into play. Obviously we discussed that whole thing earlier. I am going to be putting scrap into this, but this is not I'm not trying to fast track anything there.
Yep, cool.
That'll be happening when it happens.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So as you sit in this armor that you've crafted yourself, you've used the skills you've been learning to, especially from your old mentor as well, and that's kind of what clicked together right at the end. And you, yes, of course, he always told me to remember to do that. And as you step into it, it fits. It's snug. It's not comfortable by any means, but you feel like you'd rather be uncomfortable in this than comfortable with an arrow through your chest.
Yeah. I'm imagining very steampunky, like
a couple of the gears kind of give a hiss every now and then. Chana will come over and go, well, this is now a couple of hours past. Quite incredible work you two are doing. These are amazing. It reminds me of old times.
Yes. Well, I must admit it's great to be back in the forge again.
Absolutely. Well, please, be happy to share ideas with you if you ever come through here again.
Of course.
Couldn't help but notice the diagrams on the wall.
She gives a look and she goes, oh, those old things, yeah. The master is obsessed with old war technology and doesn't shut up for them for days. Stories and tales of creation and old house Kenneth and stuff like that. I could recite them off for you if you wanted to, but it bores me to death.
We've all heard the rumors, haven't we? Nobody exactly knows which story is true, if any.
That is exactly true. But they are fascinating creations, I will give them that.
Indeed they are. During the sort of the period of time after Ghost seemingly had a failed creation and you finishing your piece, he's taken several steps to fold everything back together and actually bend some of the internal plates out of the case, reaches his hand into that extra plane of space that is still there sitting in the center of the case, and actually pulls the entire space out. And you can see what looks similar to the briefcase itself is this backpack made out of sheets of brass and steel with simple like link straps. And opens it up, and the extra plane of space has now been moved out of the case. Puts his whole pack in there and starts packing things away. Closes it all up. And is now just standing there, appreciating your work.
Now yours. What do you think is this final piece you need? Or initial piece you need?
I'm not 100% sure.
I am good at jump stuff.
Like,
you can see he like sort of clicks and like the almost does like this weird crackle of energy down.
well, thankfully, thanks to that dragon shard dust, I have a power source and a way to start it up. But even though all the inscriptions are in place and the runic elements, the arcane elements, power source, even flow and distribution of the energy, it's like it's missing a key.
Oh, Vargir has one of those.
Who's keeps key?
But I don't know what that key is.
Channa will chip in. She goes, "It's very interesting. Not to interrupt or anything, it reminds me of how they powered the Titans of old. It needs something to jumpstart it."
You're right. I mean, yeah. Almost like an activation. Perhaps it needs a name. A name, of course. Of course. Why didn't I think of that? And rushes around, opens everything back up again, flips the inside of the head open and brings out his engraving tool and stops. What should I call you? And he thinks back. You can see he's going through, his eyes are darting back and forth, thinking of memories. And then he finally locks onto something. He starts carving in these symbols that I don't believe are a language you understand. But they're beautiful, sweeping, and even though they're being carved through tools with a magical nature, they're not necessarily magical themselves. It is an arcane language. But it also seems to, the engraving itself almost doesn't hold shape. It's like when you look at it, it's like you getting that sort of double vision. You can't quite focus on what the word says and break down the structure. A curve seems to suddenly dip into like almost a sharper point and then go back to being a curve. He finishes it off. That might be it. We need to go outside. And
China is already at the door, opening the door up, going out into the town square. You guys kind of lay everything out. Yeah. Molokov moves in his armor.
And he brings the case out, has collapsed all back in on itself again, closes it, locks it, brings the case to the step of the door, holds it. Let's hope you're as noble as your name is. Bonus Majestus, MB, come. And he tosses the case, and as he does, as those words leave his mouth, you see these reddened runes line up all along the outside, and these veins start to spill across the outside of the pieces, and then it almost erupts in midair, and bursting forth, these limbs, these parts of this creation that he's been working on all snap into place and build and form, and this red glowing light thumps something in the middle of this chest-like cavity, and you hear this purr of what sounds like an engine without a fuel source. Just the tick of pistons and cogs spinning, and landing on the ground in front of you is what looks like mechanical wolf, but large, 6.5 feet long, standing almost 4 feet tall,
Jesus.
with that dragonoid wolf-like mask, and it shifts. The shoulder pops back into an upright position. The knees, the ankles lock in and down, and then it stands up on 2 feet and looks over and takes a knee. My God, you're beautiful.
Sorry, did you say it stands up on 2 feet?
Yeah. So it goes from being quadrupedal to locking to a bipedal position. So it's a humanoid form with a wolf-like face.
Transformers.
Robots in disguise.
You see it like take a knee before you, and its head kind of looks up, meets your eye gaze, and you can hear that whirring just going inside its chest. But I believe if this is your Iron Defender,
This is the Steel Defender.
Steel Defender, it will await your command.
Well, look at us. Aren't we ready for a fight now?
Chana is amazed at this. This is incredible. How does it work? She's going around looking at it like, well, this is nothing like how the old technology used to work. You've achieved something amazing. Bravo, absolute bravo.
No, it's nothing in compared to the Awoken. Not even close, but it's almost autonomous. It still requires commands.
Of course.
You see Ghost is probably the first time, Molokov, you've seen a very genuine smile on Ghost's face. Like, he's so soft at the moment. Like, this is something clearly he's been working for a long time, and now the joy almost takes him in sort of...
I imagine it's a little bit like, these quite stoic characters in this moment being very almost childlike in our
definitely
excitement for each other's what we're trying to achieve here.
All right, your first command, let's ride. Ghost takes 2 steps back and takes a running jump at the Steel Defender, and it turns, and as it does, goes back onto all fours. He lands saddle on the back of it, and it runs off around the square. Not at a super fast pace, but that of a riding horse. And you can see Ghost has immediately taken to the flow. He's completely in sync with the machine that he's just created. Running up the side, bouncing off the side wall of a nearby building, leaping to a roof, jumping back down, having the time of his life.
It's all that training on the dinosaur.
It's almost interesting to see him take to this after being so fucking uncomfortable on the back of Swift Scale.
You fit quite naturally into this Steel Defender that is now galloping around the town square, as we'll move over from you two and go to the Grey Beyond. I believe that is where you're heading first, Puck.
Yep.
As you arrive, the place has been definitely tidied up a bit. There are still no sigils or anything out the front. There's still just the Grey Beyond, but you walk in and the floors are clean. The tables look like they've been wiped down. It's on its way to improvement. Behind the bar, the gnome will turn and go, "Oh, good morning to you, Puck. How you do this today?" He's still waking up.
Yeah. Is Callie in?
Oh, possibly. She hasn't been down yet. Would you like me to fetch her for you?
Yes, please. But I actually have another question for you before you go. Does the Grey Beyond serve many of my kind here?
Halflings. Well, we have a couple pass through. Some come to join crews. Some are passing through to go north, go west. It depends. I have seen
Recently?
halflings before. Recently.
About a month ago?
Oh, he like now realizes it's a specific time you're asking about. Kind of thinks for a bit and. Yeah, I think I do recall a halfling passing through. Not too long ago. Yeah.
Did he leave a name? Or if
No.
it was in fact a he?
It was, but not a name per se. Ordered some drinks. Stayed a couple of nights. Actually, quite interesting. Didn't fill in his room on the last night, much like you guys do. You buy one and then don't show up.
Sorry, there was a cat in the corner of my room, which you can kind of see.
Get
his
scrapped.
little toes.
Yeah, didn't stay for his last night and didn't pay up for that night. That was quite annoying. But
yes, very rude. Did they meet with anyone or anything you can remember at all?
I'll have to think about it. Yeah, sat down with some people in the town, and no one of note. I didn't really pay much attention to him. Sorry.
No, that's all right. It's good to just know that they were here. If you remember anything else, let me know, and I'll slip him a gold.
Oh, thank you. The only thing it probably was with a group of people. They looked like they were making a salvage crew of some kind, but I don't know if they came to anything. Many people try and recruit groups, and then they go their separate ways before the night's out.
Well, if you know where they were going, or if you remember anything else, please do let me know.
Of course, I will. Any breakfast for you, and any tips on how I can get this out? He like turns to like the backsplash mirror, and it's like very dirty and stuff.
I'm not much of a cleaner myself.
Well, since we've put forward the application, I know we've got a standard to keep. I thought you might have a tip or a trick up your sleeve.
Sorry. Maybe find someone who can do some magic. But if you would go get Callie, that would be appreciated.
Of course. Puts down the tea towel and goes, I won't be a second, and heads upstairs.
While he's gone, I'm just going to be looking around the room and just, I guess, just taking in anything that I can think of, or I'm particularly just, I don't know, I'm just looking around if anything seems like it wouldn't make sense to be in a tavern / inn.
Okay. Roll me an investigation then.
That's a 3. That'd be pretty bad. I think it's a 9 for investigation.
9. Like I said, when you walked in, it does appear they've been making some alterations. It's not anywhere near perfect yet. It definitely was a dive tavern. And even that would be giving it a compliment when you first arrived here. But it looks like things are, all the tables are straightened. They're all now in nice lines rather than just thrown throughout the thing. The pillows have been plumped at the edge of the long banisters and stuff. But other than that, it looks pretty normal. It's still pretty dingy in here. There's 1 or 2 people off on the side just kind of having a breakfast.
Yeah, great. I'll just be waiting for Callie then.
All right. About 10 minutes pass. Before coming down the stairs, you see Kelly kind of looks like she's finishing putting on her work clothes. She's just tying up her hair. As she comes down and goes, if it isn't my favorite inspector. Puck, how are you?
I'm well. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to kick him out soon.
We've got an infestation here. I'm sorry. It's
I've been sharing sharing house and home with a couple of them myself recently.
Everyone else just feels this weird like burning of their ears.
Dale's face.
Got to get the headphones with the cat ears, Dale.
I know what I'm getting you for Christmas, Dale.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we've started to
making...
we started to do some work around here. It's not fast travel, just me and Brackers, but
yes,
we do what we can.
Well, it's certainly an improvement. You might find yourselves a little bit freer to make your modifications soon.
The application has been approved?
Not necessarily. It's going out on the train, but you might find yourselves a little better off financially for a time.
Oh, you know of new customers coming in?
More that you're going to cease being a customer of someone else.
Oh, I have some outgoing expenses, but most of them are necessary for the running of the place.
Yes, I don't doubt that it was necessary, but you'll no longer have to worry about Zodor. And I want to watch her face. Yep.
You see her kind of stop. Well, she'd started to like pick up things and turn signs up the right way and stuff like that, but she kind of, there's a second of hesitation there. As she goes, Zodor? Oh, what on the earth has happened? Is he okay?
Well, for the time being, he's simply being held. But
held?
His I don't know how to say it. His scheme has come to an end in this town.
Zodor? Scheme? What on earth are you talking about?
Insight? Can I insight that?
Sure.
Trying to bullshit me, basically.
Sure.
Like, does she know that he was running a protection racket?
Roll an insight check.
Insight. That's a 17.
17. She seems very concerned about what you're saying. But that's kind of what you pick up from it. Scheme. So, what on earth are you talking about, Puck?
Do you mean to tell me you didn't know the protection racket he was running?
Oh, well, I mean, I know he had some of those friends he called that followed him around. They could probably beat a bandit into a pulp, but...
Callie, what were you paying him for?
Well, me and him had a sort of deal. I would give him some of the income from the Grey Beyond, and he would push patrons our way when they arrived off the station. I wouldn't call it high morale by any means, but you got to do what you got to do in these small towns. I didn't think there was anything wrong with pushing business my way.
An advertising expense. Your payment to him, was that in silver?
Why, yes, he decided to not want gold, apparently. Maybe a man of shiny taste.
Callie, what did you do during the war?
Oh, during the war? Well, now that's a while back, isn't it?
Not so long.
That's about 6 years now. Here, why don't you take a seat? She pulls out a seat for you and calls over for 2 morning ales. Some ginger beer.
Yeah, okay.
During the war, well, I wasn't a fighter, if that's what you're asking. I was part of I don't know how you would say it, a research team based out of Shan. We looked into the aid of people when war would ravage small villages and stuff. We would go in after and make sure everyone was okay. And well, I did quite a lot of work for House Jarosco.
Did you have much knowledge of the artillery and the great machines of war?
Oh, well, I'm no expert, but I know bits and bobs of them. Maybe what certain parts were used for. They are incredible machines. Usually housing 5 or 6 compartments. Each arm served a purpose, the torso served a purpose, each leg served a purpose, and so on. But
And you know how they were powered?
from what I can remember, there are 2 power sources. She has to think. Usually in the chest, the torso area, there is normally an elemental of some sort. You would have to feed it what it preferred, and it would power the machine. Usually chained up in the torso, and secondly, there was usually what you could call a brain in the head. This would relay commands to each part. But they were very, not intelligent, but very clever constructions in the brain. They would usually learn resistances.
Are you aware that you could use silver to assist in powering them?
I have heard that, yes. Many of the machines were powered by fire elementals, and they have a liking for silver. Don't ask me why.
And can you put 2 and 2 together as to why Zodor might have been seeking payment in silver alone?
You believe he's a fire elemental?
You're smarter than that, Callie. You don't need to play dumb here. You're not in trouble.
She gives a laugh. No, what are you suggesting? The old guy down at the station is building a Warforged Titan?
More that he's found one, and he's trying to power it. We
quite possibly
think he was very close. I'd hoped maybe you had more information about it.
Well, he did mention it quite a lot when he was here and would have tea and stuff.
Mention what?
Oh, just old war stories and war tales. Obsessive he was.
Do you know what he did during the war?
Not specifically, but I believe he was an information gatherer. Was able to tell stories that didn't make sense, that he could get from town to town faster than obviously is true, but I think he was more of a messenger, used his intelligence to his benefit.
Right. And I suppose just one final question from me. Has he ever gone missing, and has that ever coincided with full moons or things like that?
Well,
Or do strange things happen in town around a full moon?
I do believe, or I've had my suspicions, that he might be a shifter. But that can't be the mark of evil, surely.
Not necessarily, but it does add up with some of the other things we're coming across. Did he ever mention any plans for tomorrow to you? Vaden's Fallen?
Oh, that dreadful holiday. No. He hadn't mentioned anything to me except his despite for it. Much would I share as well. No need to celebrate the massacre of... And you catch her almost saying, our people. Before she says, shifters and whatnot.
Something's happening, Callie. I don't want you getting caught up in it, but I'd be cautious tomorrow.
Well, it is a day to be cautious on. Celebrations can get out of hand sometimes, and people take it a bit too far with their prejudices. Maybe I might take a trip to Staraluska.
Might be a good idea. This is just a player question to the other players. Is there any other questions that we would have wanted to ask her while I'm here? I think I've got everything. I've asked everything I wanted to.
No, but I do wanna admire how perfect that music was for that moment.
Very nice. All right.
I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, cool.
The only thing up for me is it makes sense now, I guess. Her name wasn't on the register. She might be referring to our people. She could be a shifter herself.
Yeah.
I'd give her as much heed or warnings as you will, Puck.
Cool. Callie, what normally happens on the day of Phaethon's Fallen here?
Yeah, well,
In town.
in town's not so bad as the cities, but usually people will come out and have whatever fantasy equivalent it is for pinata of shifters, wolf and bat and jackal-like creatures, and it is celebrated to get rid of them. And the gold and stuff comes out, and the food and the rations, and people end the day with a feast.
Where?
Oh, all through town square and the markets, especially around the church of the Silver Flame, that is.
Right. As I said, be careful, be cautious. I think something is going to go down, but...
Well, might take you up on that offer and might go restock in the city close by. If I don't see you around, that's where I'll be headed.
Sounds good.
You're not coming too?
Might hang about and see if I can't make myself useful tomorrow, but I don't imagine we'll be staying in this town forever.
Well, if I'm not back by the time you're gone, then I do hope that we'll see you around. And we'll make sure this place is thriving when you get back.
Sounds good to me. Thank you for the drink, and I'll hope to see you again.
She gives a nod and excuses herself and stands up and watches you, waits to see if you leave or not.
Yeah, I will. I'll leave, and I'll probably go back to Hera.
All right. Coming over to Vargir. You go past the markets. It's, again, people are starting up their days and stuff. You grab a bit of food, bit of water, maybe a bit of extra clothes as well for Dre. But you do spend the 5 gold well, and you spend it all. You eventually come down to the town square, and you can hear banging and clanking from inside the smith, but you get to Cooper's adventuring store as he goes, oh, hello, and oh my god, he looks at Dre a bit taken aback. Dre's like, what?
I was kind of...
Go.
Oh no, I was going to say I was going to come to that store to purchase all that stuff, but... Oh,
sure. Yeah. So you come in, and he's a bit taken aback by Dre, but he will happily sort you up for 5 gold on that stuff, and will say, is anything else? Your friends have given me back my money, which I'm very appreciative towards, so a half price on anything you desire.
There's nothing really... Because it's quite just like very general stuff, right?
Sure. Is there anything you can think of that Vargir would want, and we can see if it's here?
No.
All right.
Not really. No, not at all.
I just quickly jump in and just for the group general information, what sort of stuff is for sale there?
So this is adventuring general store kind of stuff. So you can get your rations, you can get your ropes, some kits, maybe some basic potions, stuff like that.
Not weapons or anything.
Weapons would be the smith. Potions,
including like ranged weapons, or
yeah, I would say so.
Okay, cool.
It's essentially like a Foursquare.
Kind of, yeah. This is where you get your grappling hooks and stuff like that kind of stuff. Apothecary would be more your potions and your medicine and so on and so forth. Adventuring store is kind of everything in between. Obviously, this is a remote area, so not everything's going to be available. But basic supplies.
I might just buy, because it'll be quite a lot of stuff, right? That
Sure.
we've got for Drace. I might just buy him like a backpack.
Sure.
To carry it in.
We'll say that's 5 silver.
Okay, cool. And I'll look at Dre and I'll say, you ready to head back home?
You see him now standing there with like this backpack full of gear. A weird sight. As he goes, well, I'm going to try my best. You've changed my view on things.
I'm glad I could help in any way. Right. Well, let's get you to the mist.
Heads out. Again, the clanking and stuff has kind of subsided in the smith, but you know that your friends are working away there. And you'll walk to the edge of town, and Jay will kind of turn around, and you'll see him kind of like sprout out these leathery wings again. He goes, this might help a little along the way.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Anyway, I hope next time we don't see you, well, I hope the town's not in dust.
Thank you. And of course, if your people decide to attack, there's nothing against it. I hope they don't, but I understand.
See,
no pressure.
Kind of get a little bit confused at that. And then he understands that it's about the choice. Well,
and I hope to see you again soon.
I hope so too. Maybe we can expand our horizons after this is all blown over. He'll
put out my big hand.
He was just about to do exactly the same thing. You kind of like do it, but you're like, it's a little bit awkward for a second. But then he grabs your hand and thank you, Vargir. We'll
thank you, Jay.
Tell stories of you around the fire. And he turns around and kind of. Now he's a small creature, so the backpack's kind of heavy. So he does kind of almost like an aided hop with his wings.
Yeah, great. It's just like this.
Yeah. But he kind of hops off until you can't see him no longer. And you find yourself on the edge of town.
Wait for him to pop off, and then kind of just as I start to turn around, go, I hope he doesn't. And I'll start walking to the church.
Okay. By the time you get there, a bit of time has passed, but you see Mother Johanna and Balinor out the front as they are hanging up some kind of like streamers kind of thing.
Morning.
Turn around. Well, morning's almost over, but how do you do, Vargir? And Balinor will kind of go, hello. Then thank you.
It's nice to see you're up and well, Balinor.
Yes, it's taken a bit of time, but I am thankful that I'm still here and walking around. How are you? What brings you here?
Just coming to check up. What are you setting up?
This is for tomorrow's celebrations. Faden's Fallen.
What do you do on? I'm essentially asking the same question that.
Yep.
Just.
Yeah. Mother Johanna will explain it in almost convincingly more PC terms.
Yeah.
You know, it's because this is something she believes in. That the Silver Light went to this martyr and helped him slay all these shifters that were overriding this town. Paints the picture that the shifters are almost vermin-like, and this is a solution to the problems. Afterwards, there was celebration. The town could flourish, and so on and so forth. The town is Shan. This is where it happened. And we delve a little bit into tradition and take upon ourselves the Silver Light to rid the town of all the shifters that get hung outside the doors. And at the end of the day, we feast together as a town and come together knowing that we are safe here under the light. And she turns around and looks at the church. Bellinor isn't so much into it, but she nods along. She doesn't disagree or anything.
Varga looks like, I guess, like slightly unimpressed, not very happy with it. As he kind of like looks at the shifter's painting and goes, well, funny that, because I actually just made very good friends with a shifter.
Oh, the one you took away. Oh, bless him. I hope he does find a lighter path later in life.
Well, as do I. I hope one day he could be a part of this community.
She doesn't scoff, but she does that kind of like old lady thing where she's like, I'm not agreeing with this idea at all.
Mother Johanna, I'm not sure if the festival tomorrow is a good idea.
Well, how do you mean? We do it every year.
I know, and tradition is clearly important to you, but there's talks of an attack tomorrow on the town.
An attack? Oh, you mean like last night? Oh my gosh, I don't think I could stomach another attack like that.
We've just sent Dre off to talk to his people to convince them not to attack, but we don't know who else has been sent these letters. I just think this war between your traditions and the shunned shifters, it's just old news.
Oh, it's not a war, Vargir. No, it's just a story. People just enjoy themselves. I'm sure there's nothing to worry about. She's kind of getting not defensive, but she's kind of like trying to convince herself.
Yeah,
that this is
Mother Johanna. These shifters that you so see quite vermin-like is not what you think. They're not evil, treacherous demons from hell. They are just...
Oh no, I'm sure they're not. It's just a tradition, you know. I'm sure I've seen some in the street and not even known it. She laughs nervously.
Tradition sometimes changes, Mother Johanna.
Yes, well, sometimes they do, sometimes they don't.
I'm gonna look at Bellinor.
She will give you a look like she's agreeing with you, but she's also not arguing for you.
No, yeah.
Bellinor will step in and say, look, Mother Johanna, why don't you, I believe some of the plates and stuff need to be put out inside. Why don't you go do that? Why, yes, all right. She'll kind of walk off in a flourish.
Sure.
Bellinor will turn to you and go, some arguments are more difficult than fighting creatures in the mists.
That's very true. But Bellinor, I really hope you could convince her to not do this.
You're talking about some sort of attack. How do you mean?
Well, the creatures that attacked the church last night.
I'm well aware.
Were given a note, which we believe is from Zodor.
Zodor? Oh, that scumbag of a person.
Not a great guy.
You're too nice for your own good sometimes, though, I guess.
He's asked some of these shifters to attack the town tomorrow on the day of the festival, and I could imagine they're pretty willing to do that, as I'm kind of like referencing how they're perceived.
No, it's definitely a motive for, or an incentive for an attack.
I just don't think them running around here seeing those is going to make things better.
No, absolutely not. Well, I'm feeling good enough that I can pick up my bow again, and I can aid if the call comes to it, but what's your plan? Do you have any path of action?
Just hoping I can convince them not to attack.
Right.
That's hard, because I don't know what's coming.
Of course. I've shamefully, I have hunted one or two shifters in the past, or maybe not the ones that walk the streets, but bigger, scarier ones. We're talking bear-like creatures that turn back into giant men.
Do you know where they come from?
well, the curse of lycanthropy spreads throughout the land. And that wasn't here either. This is just on my travels.
All right. Look, just maybe have a chat with Mother Johanna.
I will.
Get her to take these down.
It might be
It's
for the
more
best of town to lay low tomorrow.
I agree.
Maybe everyone keeps in their houses. Will that make us stay safe?
Sorry, I'm staring at Jed.
So am I.
Sorry, I got some sneezes.
Oh,
Oh. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
all
For
right.
now, I'll keep you updated.
Well, if you need my assistance, I've hunted many things in my life. Maybe I could help strategize or something.
Maybe that might be a good idea, but I hope it doesn't come to that.
Me too. Well, let me talk to Mother Johanna. If there's anything else you need from me, let me know.
Thank you. See you soon.
She'll turn to go back inside. And is there anything else you'd like to do, Vargeir, or anyone else, before you kind of all reconvene around midday back at the sheriff's office?
Yeah, I guess I'd just love to have a chat with Zodor.
Sure, you want to
Just
get
try
there
see if I
first?
can- Yeah, I just want to see if I can get any more information out of him.
Okay. You walk in past Hera, who's busy reading, give a nod, and walk into the cell. Zodor is there with his...
There's literally like bits of paper spread all around me and like little scribbles of notes, so I don't even see you walk in. I'm just sort
Great.
of fucking.
Zodor is up against his seat, hands behind his back, chained to the cell bar as well, as Puck had secured him there. And he looks fidgety. He looks around, but as soon as you walk in, he sees you and goes, "Well, hello. Have you come to
Doesn't
free
look-
me?
Not quite.
My hero, my savior?" Gives a bit of a grin.
Very funny. I would like to, because no, don't worry. Actually, I don't know that's happened yet. That doesn't look comfortable.
No, it's not the best accommodation I've ever stayed at, but I can't complain. I'm still breathing, aren't I?
Let's try keep it that way.
Oh, I dare hope so.
Now, Zodor, these attacks tomorrow. What do you know of them? Jed, what is going on?
Attacks.
It's Michael.
Now, children.
Well, yeah, as I will reference the note that we found, and we're pretty confident that this is you. We also have one of these creatures that attacked last night. Pretty convinced that you were involved.
Well, there's a lot of speculation going around lately, isn't there?
Nope, just straight honest facts.
Hmm.
And the straighter you can be, the easier this will be for both of us.
He leans forward and he goes, "Can I tell you something? Vargeir, was it?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is a celebration of people slaying my kind. You can understand that I am upset about that. And let me tell you, you might be smart. You might have me in here. But I am not a strong person. And when my friend gets here, he will get here and block the sun. And that's when I will get out. You see, I don't need the strength to break these bars. Because my friend Mo, he can do it for me." And he'll lean right up into you and goes, "I do hope you survive. Because it will be fun to put you in this position when I am done."
I'm gonna try restrain like the look of fear as he references that, and I'm just gonna walk out and say to Hera, "We need to get everyone together now."
And that is where you all will get back to the sheriff's office.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh, that was cool. Scary as fuck.
Yeah.
Also, can I point out, cutest moment of the campaign was so far is Dre running off like a little school kid on his first day.
Yeah, that's it. And Dad just seeing him off with a little tear.
Yeah, that was
That's so
beautiful. Anyway.
Before you do that, do you want to take a 2-minute coffee break?
Yeah.
Yep, cool. I'm going to go refill my cup.
Stress, man.
Fuck.
Yeah, that was so adorable. That whole scene, I was just like, oh.
Yeah, I know. I loved it. Little Dre. Bye, son.
So cute.
Have fun at camp.
Don't come back and kill us.
Please.
Ghost. We come to you before we get back to the station.
And then come on you.
Wow.
That's on recording now. That's on the internet.
We're recording.
This is why your band gets cancelled.
Let's restart. Let's go back to the break. Reese can edit this out later.
So the two giddy artificers are walking away with their new creations, and in a moment of enjoying the success together without really making eye contact with you, Ghost says, "My name's Caspian."
Uh-huh. Hang on.
Did I hear that right?
I was not expecting that. Okay.
Seems like names are important. Just don't tell the others yet. And keeps walking.
So, apparently so, and I glance back at your... Is it walking on its hind legs behind us? Or
No, it is on all fours.
Okay.
And it's like tailing heel at my side.
Apparently so. Don't worry. Your secret's safe with me. But I appreciate knowing.
You arrive at the station, find Hera tidying up the last of her notes, unless you're going to share stuff with people. Puck sitting in there and Vargir coming out of the cell.
Slightly shook.
Yeah, very shook. As Varga's just gonna like look around and see and look at everyone with like wide eyes and just say, "We need to get everyone out of this town. Mo's coming."
Oh shit, we already fucking knew that. Do you see what's going on here? Hello? We look fucking great. No one?
You seem
Nothing.
happy.
Nothing. Really. Look. He looks beautiful.
With like
Encased in metal.
power armor.
Oh, is it come inside?
Nothing.
You look outside the door that's still closing, and you just see Obak staring back at you. And then Obak moves forward, and you see the steel defender behind it.
I think Varga's just way too shocked. He just looks at it. Yeah,
Yeah, I know it's important, but you seem a little shook. What happened?
As I said, Zoto's just told me that Mo's coming to attack this town tomorrow.
Well, fuck.
Can we stop Mo? Can we get Zoto to stop Mo? Who's bringing it? My understanding, it takes a crew to man those things.
Well, we met.
From my understanding, they have a crew. We saw them in the mists.
How do we know Mo isn't at the Null camp?
We don't know fucking shit about where Mo is. We know his arm's over there.
Well, that was one of the Null camps.
We need
Feels
to
like
get
there's a lot
people
we
out.
don't quite understand.
We need to get everyone on that train.
Well, that would be a good
Does that leave today?
It
It
does.
leaves this afternoon.
Yeah, okay, right. And we don't have time to waste.
No.
I mean, there is.
Is there anyone can make my voice louder? By any chance?
There's
What
that
you do
bell.
is you inhale, aim from the stomach, project.
What was that, Puck?
There's the bell near the scrap yard, or does the church have a bell? We can ring it and call everyone over.
It's not a bad idea. Town squire. Ring-a-ding-ding.
Who's the fastest?
Pretty fast on a dinosaur, but not on my feet.
Maybe, Puck, if you get round, ring that bell, the rest of us can go through town and get everyone moving.
Oh, be
Does-
careful about ringing that bell. It's meant to cause
does-
danger. Fuck
Yes.
knows
Does the church have a bell?
You would have seen a bell in one of the, not towers, but yeah, it does have a bell.
Okay.
That might be a better option.
All right. Yeah, I'm just going to start beeline to the church.
Okay. Going
I wanna
into
talk to
action
Khorvaire.
straight away.
Ghost, maybe we can go and convince the shopkeeper, got his name, to help us convince
Cooper.
others to. Yeah, Cooper.
Coop-
Go talk to
Cooper
Cooper and see if
and-
he can't help us get some
Sheena
of the
could
others
probably
across.
help as well. I want to have a quick word with our prisoner.
What about the sheriff? Do we tell him to help round up his town?
I don't think
Very good
we
idea.
want to let him loose.
No, no,
Oh,
not.
sorry, the sheriff. Sorry, I misheard.
Yes, yes, yes.
Zoro, can you
No,
go
yeah,
help
let's-
convince people to leave?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
the
Like,
more the
you'll be
merrier.
fine. You won't run away.
No, the
heard-
sheriff. I think we should ask him to at least try and convince people to come. Get on the train. How are we going to? I suppose people have some money and stuff, but we're not going to pay for people to get on the train, are we?
I don't know if everyone even could fit on the train.
Well, you have to
You-
try.
You came here on it. How do you think everyone would fit? Given
mean-
that it's potentially already half full.
Not a town's worth of people.
It would be not what I would call a comfortable train ride.
I mean, anyone who can't get on the train could just leave. That no camp's what, 2.5 hours trek out of town?
It
Yeah,
also
that
might
is-
not be our decision. We're not from here. They may want to stay and defend it. It's not really our call.
They may
I
not
think we have
leave us.
It is
We
their
have a
homeland.
responsibility to try and tell them. But what they do with that information, we can't force them to do anything.
Damn right.
Vargir,
hard-
you said Mo is coming. He's going to blot out the sun and destroy this town. Are we staying? I you know I
I
can't.
was literally just about to ask that.
I can't stop a Mo.
Yeah,
Maybe we
that's-
should see what
that's
the
a
town is
great
doing
question.
first.
I mean, these are nice people, but fuck, you know.
I don't know if we can stop him over. We can try and stop a race war. There's still a bunch of shifters out there who've been poisoned by Zoro's words.
I will say
Maybe, like,
as
good
well.
people.
I will say as well, Hera, and probably the rest of you as well. It is knowledge that this is not Mo is not complete. So do with that what you will, but it is a amalgamation. Like, he's trying to get this thing working. So
Yeah.
it's not a CR25 Warforged Colossus,
Yeah, but it might be
coming
like
in,
But it might be big.
but it might be big in
a
size.
piece of its arm used for
But
a
it's
tank. or-
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha.
It might be able to smash something and just scare everyone off.
Keep in mind as well, we can't send people to the Knoll camp because I would imagine he's going to be going straight there for another piece.
Well, fuck me sideways. They can just leave then. Walk along the tracks until they at least far enough away that they won't get smashed by whatever comes here.
Let's see what we can do.
That's a good idea.
Damn
Right.
it.
let's go round up some people. Oh, you wanted to speak to Zodor?
Yeah. Sheriff?
Mr. Sheriff.
Sheriff will walk in. You can see behind that he's got the body ready to go to the apothecary now. Yes. What can I do?
I want
for
you to witness a conversation.
Oh, of course. He will kind of stand stationary.
With our prisoner.
Oh, I see. He'll walk in there. So everyone else starts going to do their thing, which I'll come to in a second. But Sheriff will follow you in there, and Zoda will look up, and he's kind of like, now what?
Yeah. We've been over this before. Look, you're a smart guy. You realize what you're doing. You know, you're kind, you're people. Yeah, I'm sure there are good people out there. That one that we let go, the one that we actually spoke to and communicated with, not a bad guy. And personally, I got nothing against you. But if you do this, you're starting something that's so much bigger than just vengeance against a town. This is a race war.
He will just look at you and kind of quizzically turn his head. Would you like something to relax yourself? You seem a bit wound up.
Mass murder will do that. I'm sliding from behind the sheriff. All you're going to do is prove them right.
Yeah.
You say they don't like your kind. All you'll do is prove them right to fear you and to hate you and to hunt you. You want to make change? You want to actually have a place for your kind here? How does this accomplish that? This is just vengeance, and vengeance doesn't solve anything.
You have lived, how they say, a sheltered life.
You have no idea the life I have led.
I don't. He kind of like sits back and goes, the hate and the vengeance. This is what we have suffered for years. And now our time has come. Us, who have more strength, we have capabilities of two beings in one. We will show that our time has come now. And Sheriff will kind of step in and kind of like be considering what he said. And I understand your pain. Our kind too has suffered since the war, and we became obsolete in the eyes of many. Why we are stronger, more resilient, more communicative, better understanding than most of the living organisms of this world. It is no excuse to start the fighting again. You will stay here for as long as you need to. And kind of like steps back. Is there anything else you would like from the prisoner? Otherwise, we should start acting.
A pound of flesh would go a long way, but you're right, we don't have time.
A blade comes out of his arm.
What's the look on Zodor's face when that happens?
He is listening, and you can see he's uncomfortable. He's jittery. He now no longer has what you know, Michael, inside his head, and he just gets frustrated and goes, "We shall see. I will sleep well tonight," and leans back against the bars. He's almost arrogantly confident.
Yeah. Ghost is wound up and frustrated visibly. But before he turns out the door, just stares as many daggers as he can at Zodor. Says, "Your decisions are your own, but I'm going to prove to you that we are better, and that there is no answer to this in violence. I'm going to show you that we can be peaceful. I'm going to make you regret your decisions."
He's enjoying, Puck, you see that he's enjoying that he's wound him up so much.
Yeah.
Mm.
I leave.
It's all right. It's all right, Ghost. I'm gonna stay and be the last one in the room.
Okay, Sheriff will walk out. Ghost walks out.
I'm gonna shut the door behind me.
Uh-oh, not again.
I'm
Thieves' tools come out.
gonna flick down my mask.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna get right up in his face.
Okay.
And you can see, like, in the reflection of like the emerald colored eyes of the mask, just you can see himself staring back, and you can see, I don't know, the sweat maybe starting to drip.
It definitely is.
And with my left hand, I'm going to produce a dagger. And with my right hand, while he's distracted doing that, I want to try and take his ring off his finger.
Okay.
His hands are restrained.
They are. So his hands are behind him.
Yeah. I imagine, because he's like leaning up against the bars. I imagine I like come up to the side kind of thing.
Sure.
So, to be able to get close to his face.
Give me a. Do you want him to notice this?
I'm more concerned with getting it than if he knows.
Yeah, because obviously he might clench his hand, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sure. So give me a sleight of hand check, straight roll.
What's that, +7? That's a 21.
21. You slide this ring off, and just as it reaches the end of his fingers, you feel his hand start closing, but you get the ring off. And he kind of lets out a breath. And what do you plan to do with that? Are you going to take my position? You would do quite well to lead some people.
I think Puck's just gonna, muffled by the mask, and just say, I'm no leader, but I think I do a better job than you.
Possibly so.
Have fun rotting in your cell.
You see it like that gets to him, but he doesn't respond as you walk out the door.
I'm going to walk out just watching him the whole way, kind of unerringly not moving. Behind the mask, I'm probably looking around a little bit, but you can't tell.
Yep.
Just this face. And as soon as I get to the door, flicks it down so people behind don't know that he's wearing it, and comes out.
Yep. As you leave, you do see him kind of he does that jiggle trying to see if anything's come loose or anything. He's now visibly moving around quite a lot more than he was the night previously. But you get out into the room, so I think it's just you and Ghost left.
Now that I'm there, I'll show Ghost that I've got it. Does it have a little pinprick in it?
It does.
Yeah, okay. I'll show that to Ghost, and I'll say, whatever this emerald claw fist, whatever this is, it's involved in this. It seems interesting. Anyway,
it's bigger than
sure
just
what we'll do with this, but
I know it's bigger than just him. Our friend here, some sort of symbiote. Arcane in power, has a few of its own abilities, but bonds with the wearer and sends information to something. I don't know what. I don't know if it's one way. But
nor do we know what information it's been sending.
No.
Right. Well,
right now, we have a town to rescue and a war to stop.
Based
I
on
saw myself as a hero.
Sorry, but just to cut it, based on the description of the two things it can do, you probably can discern the information he was collecting. If that makes sense.
Do I gather that it's thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or it might explain how he conducted himself previously. Why he was always so calm, so smiling, and...
Oh, I see. Because he was reading people's minds. Yeah.
Correct.
He was always a step ahead of them before. So for you guys, mechanically, you'll all get this information eventually in game, but this symbiote bonds to the wearer. You attune to it by bonding to it. And it gives you the ability to... Has 4 charges. You can cast the following spells from it, expending the number of charges. Detect thoughts for 2 charges, or dissonant whispers 1 charge. Each time you use it to cast the detect thought spell, it sends the information gleaned blank
As in, it sends it not just to you, but to something else?
It sends it to something else. Yeah.
Okay.
So you read the thoughts, so you gather that information, and the symbiote takes that and sends it. That's what I know from this gleaning.
And what was it? Sorry, it was detect thoughts and
Dissonant whispers, which I don't think, which he didn't use on anyone as far as I'm aware. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, that's fun. So there you go. That's what I can gather and tell you at this point. No, I don't consider myself a hero either.
Well, maybe we're about to both be proven wrong. We better get a wriggle on.
Where do you need me?
Nice one.
At this point, I imagine maybe we start hearing the bell ringing.
Yeah, so what I'm going to ask for is kind of a skill challenge. As you go about the town, you can work together on things and such, but I'm going to need a skill roll from each of you of your choice about how you're going to persuade, because persuasion might be one of them, the townsfolk to either pack up, get out of town, or at least be careful around town because of what's happening tomorrow. So we'll go from top down. So Hera, what are you
So delicate.
doing?
Okay. Dum. I don't really know what to do here. So Vargy has sort of got enough to. So we were up there. Not very good at talking to people. I'm trying to think of what could be useful.
I mean, you can just roll a persuasion check as well. You are allowed to use the same skills as other people on this one. And based on the amount of successes we get is the amount of people that are going to listen and leave.
Okay. I think I will. I suppose if the plan was sort of start telling people, because this is. Are we on the morning of? No, this is the night before.
It's halfway through
What's
the day.
afternoon before?
Yep.
Okay.
We need to get them on the train today.
Yeah.
Do we know what time it leaves?
Hera and Molokov arrived late afternoon, so you assume it might leave about like 3 o'clock kind of thing.
Okay. I suppose if we discuss what we're sort of going to tell the people, I will start going up to groups of people and warning them essentially that we think there might be something happening tomorrow to do with the festival, shifters coming in, blah blah blah, train is leaving, for anyone that can't afford the train, and I will sort of say for anyone that can't afford the train to leave the town, follow the tracks, and start giving off some tips and tricks for finding landmarks or places for shelter. I'm going to use a survival check to try and hand out some survival knowledge.
Very nice.
To people that might not be able to afford a ticket on the train.
All right, give me the roll, please.
Oh, that was so close to being an actual 20, but it is not. It is a 2. So that's going to be a total of 6.
Okay. Molokov.
Right. I've been looking through the skills, trying to think of what would work and what wouldn't. But I think based off of what Molokov can do, and that he is also, much like Hera, not very good at talking to people, he'll probably set up, probably moves a couple times to public areas and almost assisting with, the other people, the other members of the group will just start using his knowledge of history to say, these, the dangers of these race wars. We've had them before. These are the, you've seen what the shifters can do, and bring that, almost not trying to scare them, but bring that knowledge back to the forefront of their minds. And the same with like the Titan, and put two and two together, people. They're run by silver. This guy's been collecting silver. Trying to describe almost the historical events of like what's been happening, and what's happened in the past, and try and bring that to the forefront of their minds to almost help with the convincing of what we're saying, what we're trying to tell them, not just get out of town, someone's going to attack.
All right, give me that history check then.
Right. Not great. It's a 9.
9. Fuck.
Yep. So I wanted to go and find Cooper.
Sure.
And I wanted to get his help to help clear out, say, like the what was that? The trade square. People, like, convince them to help convince them to close up shop. And yeah, get his.
I gotta jump in with you.
Yep. Cool.
As we're standing there, because I don't think you've told us about the information about Kelly, about what you know about her.
No, I haven't. Which information? About the fact that she is a shifter potentially, or about the fact that she wasn't being stood over?
The fact that she's potentially a shifter, and the fact that she doesn't agree with the festival.
Okay.
So as we're standing there, as everyone's left and we're the last two standing there, I'll say, I think I can go and talk to Cooper and Chena, two people who are trusted in the Artisan Square, and convince them to help us convince people to leave, or try and form some sort of peace if they want to stay. That there is a danger coming, but it is not the shifters, and they have had their minds poisoned. This is what I vocalized to you. So if you want to change your plans based around that.
Yeah, sure. No, that's good. I think, yeah, well, if you know 2 people there, maybe I can... I spoke with Callie earlier today. I might see if she's willing to vouch for what we're telling people. I'll go over there.
That's a good idea.
So yeah, I'll go to Callie instead, and I'll, yeah.
You do find her already packing. Having heeded your warning of sorts. She doesn't seem in a rush or anything, but she's definitely packing up shop kind of thing. And Brackus is still manning the bar. Doesn't look like he's leaving or anything, but you can involve that in your check, whatever you would like to do. There are also people at the bar because it is lunchtime, so there is quite a crowd there and stuff. Yeah,
I'm just going to go straight up to Callie and just like tap her on the shoulder and just say, we need to talk quickly.
Sure. Come here. And she gestures you into her back office.
Callie, we spoke to Zodor again. He's bringing a Warforged Titan to town to intimidate, to break things, to seek vengeance for shifters.
Well,
I'll give her maybe a bit of a penetrating stare.
That is unfortunate. I felt like we could address this a bit calmer than that, but if what you say is true, then there is no place for us to be around. I will leave as soon as I can.
Yes, and maybe you could... We want to get not just you, but others out, or at least warn them. You're known in town. I'm just a stranger who's come to a bar a few times. We need to warn people. It's their choice if they want to leave on the train or...
Of course.
Get out of town for a while or stay and fight, whatever they want to do, but something is coming and it's bad and they need to know.
I'll tell as many as I can.
I'll go with her, I guess.
Sure.
To do that as part of my check.
Yep.
Persuasion, I guess.
Yeah, go for persuasion.
That is I shouldn't have taken athletics with this thing. I should have given myself extra stuff on something else. But that's a 19.
19. Nice. As we'll come back to it. Ghost. You're muted.
You're on mute.
You're muted.
Just like
Which I realized I said when I was on mute.
Yeah. Okay. I go to Cooper. Hi. You can hear the bells. I have something to tell you. I need you to pop over to the blacksmith's with me for a second. You and Gina should hear this.
He'll follow.
So come on over, and I'll talk to both of them. I will explain quickly about the situation with Zodor. They're probably both well aware they've been extorted. I will tell them of... Okay, I want to try and weasel this. I'll tell them of the... how further the extortion with Zodor has gone, and that he's a shifter himself, and he's trying to instill fear by bringing this mechanical creature to town. That's the primary bit of information I give them, the backstory. Then I'm going to follow that through with, but we've seen this happen in the past. Wars have been fought. The last war created the mist. I want to avoid that. Like, I don't know if you're people of faith, but we get taught in all religions, including those who follow the host, as I do. I pull out my symbol, that violence is not the answer, and that we should forgive those the trespasses they cause against us and try and create a better future. I don't know what you can do if you can convince people to leave town, but if you wish to stay and you know those who can stay and fight, or those that you know who could turn head, those of faith, to try and create peace with these people, those who have been poisoned by the words of Zodor, then I urge you, will you help? I'm trying to swing this as a religion check.
I had a feeling it was going that way, but you can absolutely go for that.
Yep. It's not bad, it's a 16.
Copy that. And Vargir. You're muted.
Damn it, I became one of them. So I'm suspecting I'm on the church rings bell.
Yeah, you just describe your actions to get it all together, and then what check you want to do.
I will definitely be basically. I want to see how many people I can draw into like in front of the church, from the markets across the road. And
a crowd definitely starts appearing.
And I will just start kind of like explaining to them who like we are, like hey, like we're the ones that came and stopped the gnolls. We've stopped the extortion in this town, and this is just one time. I need you to trust me and get on that train. I don't want to like install any fear.
Okay.
Like I don't want to be like, this is coming, we all need to run and hide. I just want to be like, just trust me, we've got this. Get on that damn train.
Okay.
So I'll make that a persuasion.
Persuasion? Yep, absolutely.
Cool.
Go for it.
Thank you. That is it's a 14.
A 14.
Yeah.
And that's including what you sent me?
Sorry. Sorry, that was I thought I rolled a 5, but it's a 15. So
that cheeky one.
It's then 23.
23. Bit of a difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Ian.
So here's what happens. as you start moving through the town and convincing people and trying to persuade people and tell them stories and such, people start moving and people start chattering after you've left them as well. Word spreads faster than fire sometimes. Puck, you notice that although Kelly is helping you, she is very determined to get on that train. In telling people, she offers the occasional word, but it doesn't look like that is her main priority. Ghost, you have Cooper absolutely listen to you. He starts going back and making plans to pack up the store and get some stuff and put that 200 towards money to survive the week and so on and so forth. But Channa will say that she can provide some knowledge on this Titan and will stay behind. Vargir, your inspiring presence of standing in front of these people and not the actual mechanical term, Jed. I saw those eyebrows go up. You dictate this speech in a way that almost encapsulates everyone looking at you, and you get them on board. A couple of people start nodding and, oh yeah, we can use some savings and stuff, but a couple of others will say, no, this is our town, we'll stay here, we'll fight. And Balinor will also be in the crowd and give you the nod of that she will be here to help you to provide information.
Cool. Okay.
With only 2 successes out of those 5, 40% of the town will leave. Which is a lot, but not everyone. As the evening kind of goes on and people start making their moves and stuff, eventually you hear the hum of the train, of the lightning rail starting up. The station has become quite busy. It's not everyone in town, but it's still a lot of people. And once everyone is on it, you will see the rails start to light up.
Can I turn to Balinor just briefly and just say, this is your last chance?
No, I will stay. And so just as before the train leaves, the 4 mages that will stay behind, Drave from the market, Balinor, Channa, and the sheriff. Mother Johanna will stay in her church, as she is kind of wanting to stay to see this thing out, but she's definitely taking protection of herself. Eventually the lightning rail whirs up and you feel the sense of arcane energy crackling through the air, and slowly it pulls out of the station with people leaving the town as well. 40% of the town is now evacuating. And what we'll do is we will join in on the evening of wherever you decide to meet, but you and those 4 NPCs will be ready to discuss the plan of action.
Right.
Now?
There's quite a distance between the mist and the town. If we can try...
About half a day's travel.
If we can try stop this horde coming in close to town, we might be able to convince them to turn back there. The further we can keep them away from town, the better.
I don't presume to force anyone to out themselves, but if any among you, of the people who are not us, obviously,
Yep.
happen to be shifters yourself, perhaps you might be able to convince them.
As he says this,
if talking is an option.
I'm just going to be looking at Mother Johanna, but like as he says, if you're shifter, I just have a small little suspicion.
All right, roll me an insight check.
Sure.
That's a 17.
17. She is not blatantly being part of this conversation, and even as the word shifter comes up, she doesn't react.
Okay.
Not to say that like she's normally disgusted and now she's choosing not to be. She's just kind of out of the zone. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'll kind of add to that. Say it'd be really helpful. There's no animosity here amongst this group. We're just ourselves without words. If any of you of one of their kin can perhaps preach to your own people.
You see everyone kind of look around at each other. There's a bit of suspicion at first, but no one puts their hand up.
It was worth a shot. Oh,
well.
sorry, I missed you the other night, by the way. More important things came up, as you can see.
Yes, I can. My friend was very sad when you did not show, but may I put some information I might know to the table?
Please, be my guest. And we can always get back to that after, when we clean things up.
Might tie into each other. You see, I get quite a lot of my wares and my ingredients from, the fine folk up at the scrapyard. I had put a job up the other day in the tavern about a problem they had been dealing with. Apparently, a lot of things had been dropping down into tunnels. They're not sure what was creating them. One of the prized possessions was a titan's head. It seems to have gone now. Might this have tied in a little bit? I know a little bit about the heads and how they work, but...
Must be a hell of a tunnel to drag a titan's head through it.
Well, maybe just to the outside of town where no one could see you dragging it. I don't know. None of us are brave enough to go down those tunnels.
Do we have time?
This is the night of before Baden's Fall.
It seems like there's
I don't know
two.
about.
Herrick?
I was just going to say, I don't know about you, but a sneaky exit like that to fit out with a whole head, well, it could also be a sneaky entrance.
Yes, I was going to say there seem to be two issues for facing us, two threats. There are potentially shifters, and there is a titan. And I'm not sure that they are both need to be approached the same way. The titan, I imagine, the best option we might have is to try and disable it in some way, cut some cords or remove a power source or something.
You'll see Channa kind of pipe up and go, Yes, what I was explaining to you two earlier. There are different compartments of a titan. I'm not sure what Go on.
What if we gave the titan the head? What if we put something inside it that would cause it to shut down or stop working?
It's not here. It's already been stolen.
The head is
But
already
I'm
been
saying
gone.
if we find it again.
Oh, yes.
I think we're guessing that it's been attached already, given that.
What about the arm?
Yeah, we don't know. But the arm isn't where the power source sits.
Your contacts, Brave. Are they with the scrapyard?
Yes, just workers. They're worried that things were going weird there, and they reported that they're not prized possession, but something great, a titan's head, usually that have knockoff drinks inside it, is gone.
What are the chances we can collapse the tunnels?
Oh. Could be possible.
If they have the means, we're willing to do so. It might prevent another entry point into the town. At least we could then see the threat coming instead of it popping up underneath us.
Of course. I can get right on that.
That's a good first step. Looking at ahead, Sheena, you were saying that's actually not a bad idea. Khorvaire, is there some way you're aware of to shut these heads down? Is there a primary source, a linkage, something?
Well, like I was saying earlier, Channa will say, between the head and the chest, that's the power unit. The chest normally has some sort of elemental form in it that sends power to the rest of the body, and the head has a brain which learns damages and resistances.
Right. So, strategically, in theory, taking out the head first would be most ideal. Stop it from learning how to resist anything we could throw at it.
Well, strategically, don't we just want to stop it from moving?
That's a good point. We don't even know how it does that.
Yeah, if we can, if it's bipedal, we could try and cut some wires or whatever it is that's holding it together and stop it in place, and then it might be easier to deal with and less of a threat to the town.
Sheriff will step forward and say, yes, these titans of our kind are bipedal. A replica of myself on a larger form. It is known to house soldiers and any other materials in its legs. That is the best form of transport if you're wanting to ride along with a titan. Therefore, they'd be hollow.
Sheriff, are you going to be comfortable fighting one of these?
I will try and protect those in the town, to best my ability. That is my purpose. If fighting is necessary, I shall take up arms again.
And if fighting is necessary, do you think anyone in the town would be also willing to take up arms?
Kind of looks around and people they're worried, but they kind of like give nods like, yeah. One kind of nudges another and we'll take on a titan, yeah.
Hopefully we can deal with
Correct
the
response here.
out in the distance, and it doesn't have to get all the way to town. But the shifters, if they're flying or they're tunneling, I'm not confident we'd be able to stop them before they got to town. That might be more what you're facing.
Well, hopefully we can convince them to not go to town at all.
It would be nice.
Would be.
Call me an idealist, but I think we should do as much as we can to remove any of these. I can't even remember the fucking name of the festival. I hate it that much.
Aiden's Fallen.
Yeah, that. Any of the decorations up around town, strip it, remove it.
As Ghost says that, I'll look to like the people that are there, kind of just as a go do that.
If they'll kind of nod and start dispersing some people.
Look, to all of you, I know there's a lot of animosity around the shifters. But if we don't do something to change the mindset and start repairing the relations, it could spell the death of not just ourselves, but many others. Even if you don't hold any place in your heart for them, I ask you to at least open it to the opportunity.
Met with mixed responses, but they are listening to you. You guys are clearly pulling the shots here. They might not agree with it, but they are going to abide.
It's fine.
I feel we might be best served splitting ourselves, at least. Some of us try and deal with the shifters, and some of us try and deal with this Titan.
That's an interesting standpoint. Probably have to face both at the same time if you're just carrying men. Molokov, I think between you and I, the materials we have around town, create some sort of tripwire trap.
I was thinking the same thing.
Something that could be quickly set up, a fast deploy method. Wrap the legs, prevent movement, at least prevent advance for a short time.
Cool.
I was hoping
you could maybe collect some chains and perhaps some grappling hooks. Oh wait, is Cooper here?
No, Cooper went.
No, Cooper left.
But he would have given you access to anything you need. Yeah.
Cool. Sorry, continue, Puck.
I was going to say I was thinking of climbing up it, but I don't know, getting in there and severing whatever connections there are between limbs and. But up to you. I can also help with the incursion of forces or something. Where do we all feel like we're going to be best served?
I think we don't know where this threat is even coming from, whether it'll be the north, the south. We can assume east, but we don't know which path they will take.
Maybe we keep someone in town to blow that whistle if we need to come back.
I don't
Yes.
think we leave town.
Well, I thought we were hoping to intercept the Titan on its way here so that it can't get into town and cause havoc.
The Titan is our main.
So do we know where it's coming from? We don't know where it's.
We suspect. I'm sure we suspect it's coming from the.
We
mist.
assume the majority of it's coming from the mist. Let's assume it's coming from the mist because that's where the team was. They were talking about the artillery there. We can assume it's in the mist, and it'll be coming along the rail line from the east, or at least something similar.
Andre's camp was supposedly quite close to this artillery.
Correct.
Yeah. All right.
Maybe they've made like a giant war train sort of thing, you know?
That'd be fucking
That's an
terrifying.
interesting. That's an interesting thought
shit.
there. But
Because this coming from the
maybe
text,
a
you know?
war train.
Yeah, by people, right? That's how
Big
it
war
works. You're-
train.
Easy here. The DM's listening.
Well, you know,
Um,
first stop with this little town, second stop the bigger cities. It's, you know, the train goes all the way.
That's a fucking terribly wonderful point. DM question:
Yes.
Is there a stockpile of some form of black powder or explosive in town somewhere?
That's what he did.
Mining supplies, something like that.
So,
I wouldn't say a lot.
No, it doesn't need to be a lot. I'm thinking maybe there's a mining supply kit or something like that with
Yeah.
a couple of sticks of dynamite or something like that.
Yeah, I would say
Something
the
like
max
that.
you could find would be a kit put together.
All right. I'll let you determine how much explosive I could get from that. But I'm thinking, Puck, if you're trying to climb this thing and get inside, I could build you something
It'd
on
be
a time.
a one-use thing. So you could it'd be an explosion, but it'd be one location, one use.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. What I'm thinking is I can build a essentially a timed explosive
Uh-huh.
using
It's a pipe bomb.
It's a pipe bomb. Using magical
Pipe
tinkering
bomb.
to have like a 12-second delay timer on a spark to a fuse, and that would create however many explosive you're
Sure.
able to give me.
This is
I
when
reckon-
Balinor will chime in and start to mention the fourth part to a Titan that could be of use to look at, and that is the arms. Now, by discussing it, you can determine that one arm is definitely missing, but that doesn't mean that the other one is as well. And she will say that usually on the Titans there is a shield arm and a firing arm, whether that be for flames, for projectiles, or whatever. Usually the arm, again, by the sounds of it, a lot of the Titan is hollow, and people move around it, the crew and stuff. And in the arms you will find capsules that will either, explode into flame, explode into anything, but it needs to be, she'll explain that it needs to be filled with something, then armed, and then it fires. And that if nothing is inside it, those things are very sturdy. So, if you had to get inside one and shoot yourself out of it, then it wouldn't explode or anything, but you'd be safe. It's when it's filled with something explosive, that's when they become dangerous.
So say again. So it's like a capsule filled with fuel.
It needs to be filled with fuel before it's fired, and that's normally what happens inside an arm.
Yeah. And it's not dangerous when they're not filled with fuel.
Correct.
So are you saying that there's a crew, the crew inside will be filling these things in order to load them?
She's
and fire
alluding
them?
to that there might be beings inside this thing.
Yep.
Yeah, it might fire out some beings. No, it doesn't have to just be explosives. It could just
That would
be
be
like a
interesting.
transport.
Possibly.
It's like the Goblin Death Diver from
Yeah.
Warhammer. Okay. Well, sounds like if I can climb up and you can give me this, I'd say maybe 12 seconds is a long time. Perhaps 6 is safest, but
Right.
doesn't
Whatever you feel
give it a
comfortable
chance
with.
to dig it out. But I'm happy to be part of that.
I could put it on a dial. I think that's within my capabilities. You can choose instantaneous 6, 12, 18.
I could, yeah, or I could just light the fuse halfway down it or something.
Yeah.
So you do have 4 points of interest, just combining it all. There's the head, the chest, the legs, and the arms.
Yeah. Well, it's, my intention, I suppose, just being upfront, is to blow its bloody leg off so it can't move anymore. Especially if that's in town, if it's not in town yet, to stop it before it gets to town. But if it's in town and it's shooting a bunch of stuff, I think the thing is, like, from my perspective on that is, like, if we blow off the arm, sure, it can't shoot anything, but it can just stomp on half these buildings. Like, it's 3 stories tall. It can break just about anything, and nothing we have will be able to stop it from doing that. We're not strong enough, unless Hera's got some crazy ass spells now.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're going to be able to do to, like, stop it from moving around. We're not strong enough to do that.
No,
But if we can stop it from moving, then we can
she
get
might need
inside it
some
and
food.
take out the people doing stuff.
Yeah, Molokov and I can at least work on some form of temporary stop method.
In my head, I was thinking like 2 ends of a long chain, grappling hook on each end, some way to potentially, hook it on one side, maybe hook it to something else, and trip it up.
Did you ever hear that tale of the large snow walkers and the 2 flyers that would circle around?
It was my favorite book in college.
Yes, it's quite an interesting battle story.
I missed a little bit of that. Didn't pick up the pun.
It's
80
Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
80s.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I'm thinking as well. We could even spring load the damn thing to fire and wrap.
Yes, it sounds like this mechanism is going to be operated by the shifters, so there'll probably be 2 stones, 1 bird or something, you know what I mean?
Yes, Hera.
I believe it's no. I
I just hold up like a hand and just.
Do we think they are to come in the morning, or do you think that they would possibly wait until the evening when the people are supposed to be celebrating and having merry times with their foods and their ales? We didn't get any idea of a time from Zodor
Or from Dre.
or from Dr. Dre.
No idea of a time.
Okay.
Just on the day of Phaeton's fall.
On the day, not the evening. Maybe that's something.
I'm going to hope that we have the night and assume that that's all we've got to prepare.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, what do we want to do, guys?
So, the night is come. I would like any preparations to be made.
I think I'm just gonna. I'll definitely do a watch. I'll make sure that, like, the people that want to fight are armed and ready.
Yeah, sure. There are not lots of weapons in this town, but you start arming people, and some people will help make this chain thing. Some people will help move things around. They are at your disposal, but I'm assuming that between you all, you take shifts and stuff like that. But through this night, you are preparing for the next morning. So what's happening?
Yeah, I suppose I'll be trying to work on this some form of device to trip, and so I'll be looking for essentially the longest, strongest chain I can find, and trying to, as I said before, probably fix grappling hooks to either end. Maybe if I can, work with Ghost, work with Caspian, see if I can figure out as much as I can about maybe not necessarily like launching it like a gun or anything, but maybe if I can figure out a way to load it into a some form of like ballista or something. To hopefully maybe the idea being like fix it at one end, launch another, and I'll sort of maybe try and set that up. Maybe not just probably like not too far out down the line on the train
Okay,
track.
so we're using the train line as a guide.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe trying to just find a point where I can have maybe something strong to fix. I don't know, maybe even I have to use the rails, but something strong to fix one end to.
You probably would, yeah.
There's the old rails actually, and that's a really good point. If we can, might shock us a little, but if we can fix to those pylons and impact them while it's chained down, it might give it a bit of a shock.
I like what we're thinking here.
I show you a quickly drawn sketch of like a leaf spring of steel bent back on itself to a trip pin that could be unplugged and send the grappling hook out in an arc. So that's kind of my idea.
Sure.
And then you fix the chain at the other end to the lightning rail pylons.
Yeah, thinking back to Hera's leap of faith, knowing that hitting the pylons will send a arcane bolt down it.
Yeah. I think that would probably take up most of my time.
I will be working along with Molokov, but then also will build this pipe bomb. So I'll find what explosives I can and will create a very simple device that just holds them together with a dial switch on it. That when turned can set a time, and then when pressed in the middle, just one of my magical tinkering devices will create a spark.
Yep.
To ignite what is a very short fuse. So
what is your spellcasting modifier?
Intelligence.
Give me an intelligence check, please.
Modifier? Sorry, do you want the modifier or the
like your
skill?
Your spellcasting stat.
Yeah. Do you want it straight, or am I proficient with this?
You can add your proficiency to this.
Good. That'll be 22.
Ooh, very nice. Roll me a d12.
Ooh. I don't get to use these very often. That is a 9.
9. This explosive will do 9d8 worth of damage.
Oh! Okay.
Wow.
I kind of finished putting it together and then realized the way that I've built it. I've created stress points at many different marks. When it goes off, it's just going to be a fucking shrapnel bomb.
Correct.
And I almost am impressed with my own creation.
So if you want to note that down.
Jesus fucking Christ. 9d8.
As you work into the night with that, anyone else making preparations?
I want to see if at like the smithy or somewhere, I'm looking for a hand crossbow if I can get one, but just a regular crossbow otherwise.
Definitely a hand crossbow. Chana will kind of be handing out weapons and stuff to some of the villagers, and you ask for a specific hand crossbow. She'll dig around to the back and say, for what it's worth protecting this town, I don't know if that's going to take down a titan, but yeah, she'll hand it across. And you can get it free of charge as you are defending their town.
Very nice. I want to take that to the two artificers.
Sure. They're busy tonight.
I want to ask... No, it's okay. It's okay. And I just want to ask if they can help me to affix my grappling hook for one shot.
Oh, okay.
We could do our best.
Ghost will tell you yes, and leave it with me. And come the morning, I'll return it to you. I have something else I can do for you.
Okay. You will be able to alter your grappling hook distance to that hand crossbow's distance.
Right.
Or range.
Which I believe is still 30-80 on a
Yeah,
hand
I'm not sure if it makes much difference, but
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
but no, that's cool. It's kind of just for fun, for flavor.
Yep.
DM question, quickly, mechanical question. We get 2 artificer infusions. I'm currently using 1 for the bag of holding. If I were to change that infusion for tomorrow, do I have to disassemble the bag of holding, or can I just say it's unusable for the day?
I'm going to say for the bag of holding, it'll be unusable.
Yeah.
So until you put the infusion back, you cannot get anything in or out of that bag.
Yeah. So the stuff that's already in it will just stay locked in
Correct.
demiplane?
Yep.
Understood. So in that case, I will make some preparations and take what I need out of it, leaving just the basic stuff that I don't think is very important in there.
Sure.
And I'm also going to prepare. Do you wear a cloak, Hera?
Not. No, not a cloak as such.
You wear a cowl, right?
Excuse me.
A cowl, a hood.
Like a head wrap sort of thing.
Yeah, and the kind of the headband is a thing.
No, it's more of like a scarf sort of wrapped around sort of thing, and if I needed, I could pull it up over my face, but it's not like a...
No worries. Yeah, cool. Okay. I'm going to prepare something for you too. But that's at the end of the long rest, so it'll happen in the morning.
Sure. Now just remember to take track of anything you are doing after your long rest, because then throughout the day you won't be able to use as many and so on and so forth.
Yep, it's only the feature happens at the start of the day.
Gotcha.
So that's natural. Yeah.
Cool. Vargir?
Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, I would like to maybe go to the smithy.
Yep.
And ask people for as much silver as they can and melt it down so we can try at least silver people's weapons.
Sure. Absolutely.
Great call.
That is a good call. I'm going to roll me a D100.
Sure. That is this one and this one. That is a 98.
Ooh, fuck!
Very nice. Yep, very nice. I'm going to say, with being very careful of how you ask people for silver in this town, for your own purposes, you can silver 1 weapon each that you guys are holding now.
Mm-hmm.
And the villagers will have silvered weapons.
Cool.
So you guys can choose whatever one you want, and it will become silvered.
Well, I've got that vial of
Resistance removal?
No, I've got a vial of silver.
What's from a one shot?
No, I'm pretty sure we got a vial of silver, did we not?
It was like a mercury-like substance. I remember that.
Yeah, coat your weapon and remove resistance to any creature.
Well. Yeah, potion of resistance removal.
Yep. That's what Mother Johanna gave you.
Yeah, that's right. You just described it as a vial of silver.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, great. I will definitely silver my mace.
Okay.
And just out of curiosity, DM, is that the thing that will last, or is it because it's kind of rushed?
No, it'll last.
Okay, cool.
I think what Molokov tries to do when you come to him with this idea, sort of nods at it and almost makes these rivets with a rune on like the back of his metallic hand, and pours the silver in there to like fill in the space.
Nice.
Silver's his
silver knuckles.
Man.
I like that.
What's your name? Bargier, you have a secondary weapon, don't you?
I have a glaive, yeah.
Yep. Ruler says you might DM, but I was talking to Puck about it, and we were like, oh, maybe that's a thing. If I use my magical tinkering to apply a glyph to a non-magical item, technically it turns it into a magical item.
Correct.
It's much similar to like a moon-touched blade or something. It's a very minor enchantment, but it would be magical.
Yep.
So I would like to apply the same. This one's actually going to be an inscription. So it's a glyph, but when you rub the glyph, an inscription will appear upon the blade. And it will say, hold fast and have faith on your glaive.
Cool. So your glaive can be a magical weapon. Hero, I think you were piping up before.
I was just going to question whether I would be able to read any of another book, or if that will interrupt trying to get a long rest this evening.
No, it won't interrupt it. Everyone's kind of working hard tonight, but if you want to tuck yourself away and have a bit of a read.
Yeah, I think this time I'm gonna. They're both very tempting options, to be fair.
There are a few, yeah.
But no, I think the name calls out to me more than it seems. It gives me a little bit of interest. I'm going to read the life of Earbon.
The life of Earbon.
Because I don't. What? Actually, can I roll a history check to see if I recognize the name?
Sure. Give me a history check.
I think I'll still read it regardless, but does it just before I read it, does it even ring any bell?
Yeah, sure. Give me a history check.
Ah, fuck. So low. History. So that's a 9.
A 9. The name doesn't ring a bell at all.
Okay.
You kind of break your brain for stuff you might have seen in a library or anything like that, but there's no figures of history that stand out with that name.
Yeah. Probably even because of that, it draws me in a little bit, and I go, "What? Who's this book written about that I've never heard of?"
Sure. You begin reading. Give me an Arcana or Intelligence check for reading this book throughout the night.
Okay. That's better. That's a 21.
21. Okay. I will fill you in on what you read throughout the night.
Okay, cool.
But if there's nothing else for anyone that wants to prepare before the morning comes around?
I just want to...
Oh, sorry, go Puck. Puck, then Ghost.
Oh, mine's real quick. I'm just going to be trying to help some of the townspeople set up move some barrels or whatever, for any of them using ranged weapons to give them cover. Trying to use some of my familiarity with that, just trying to help them get cover and get good sight lines and that kind of thing.
Sure. Ghost?
Before I go and uneasily rest for the evening.
Yeah, sure. Ghost?
I don't have a weapon I would like to silver as such, but how many bolts could I silver equivalently?
So I would say that you could silver your crossbow. If that makes sense. Like for this encounter, any bolts you fire will be silvered.
I will very quickly change the vial adaptation on the back and fill it with the liquid silver.
Yep.
With a little rune on it that keeps it in liquid form.
Yep.
So it'll do its thing. That's cool. All right.
I did have one other thing.
Yeah.
If no one else has anything,
you can also do this to your crossbow if you want, Puck.
Yeah, no, I'm going to put it on my rapier. I thought about that, but okay. I think you can usually do 1 quiver's worth, which is about 20 arrows or 20 bolts.
Yeah, we're not going to count ammo, but I'd say for this next encounter, it would count.
Yeah, easy.
I'm
going to do my rapier. Next encounter. Cool. I just want to go. Is there a window into the cell at the?
Yeah, sure.
Where Zodor is. I'm going to put my mask down. And just as night descends, Yeah. Well, first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a knife and I'm just going to scrape down the glass.
Okay.
I'm messing with this guy because I really don't like him and I want him to literally shit himself. Yeah, so I'm gonna do a bit of that, and then I'm just gonna like poke the the head up, and just sort of like just enough, and then if he looks over and he sees it, and then like does the double take by the time he looks back, it's gone, kind of thing. Just a little bit of that kind of stuff, just to really, I want him really shaken, basically.
Absolutely.
So if you need to question him again, he's maybe more compliant.
For sure.
Sorry, final thing too. I still have 2 bottles of whiskey that I never touch, and I just want to shove some rags into those and prep them for
sure
Molotov cocktails as I've used in the past.
Absolutely.
Molotov cocktails? Molokovs.
All right. So the night will pass with preparations being made for whatever is to come on Phaethon's Fallen. The village is ready. The intimidation is high on Zodor. And everyone is kind of preparing for what might come out of those clouds on the horizon. When you all awaken in the morning and the sun is still low in the sky and the orange paints the clouds, some of you are reminded of a time that has been long past. A time of fighting, a time of destruction. But to stop that from occurring again, it is up to you to step forward and push it back into the history books. There is no need for this to happen again. Vargir, you kind of take a deep breath and you feel the fresh air of the morning breeze past. And you kind of kneel down and you feel Tin's hand approach your shoulder. And that maybe with these people you have found a place and a purpose of a whole lot more you can do if you succeed in this day. And as you kind of just take a bit of dirt in your hand to connect yourself with the world, you feel the tremor. And the next tremor. As something approaches, and we will end the session there.
Glass of water with dribbles.
Great session.
It's just a T-Rex, guys.
It's fine.